Booyah! And we back in business. Welcome back to Truth or Tuesday. And of course, I am your host, the one and only Jake the Awake. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, starting a little late today, I had to push back the start time an hour because I was working on the top 10 most scripted plays of the week video. It's opening week of the NFL. And so I just finished that video like an hour before I was supposed to go live. So I needed an extra hour to take my dog out, clean up, get my shit together. So here we are, an hour late, but better late than never, right? So it is officially Truth or Tuesday. Let the festivities begin. Rose Bell's up in the house. She says, "Hi, Jake." Hello, Rose. Good to see you. All right. Victorian Cryptid Research says your vids are getting heaps of views, the NFL ones. Well, the NFL brings in a certain audience for me. And so I was kind of counting on week one a burst of views and subs. And so far, it has been exactly that. And I brought back the picks, but I changed up my strategy, and I'm only going to be picking football games that I feel like I have an advantage. So this first pick video, I only made 4 picks, nailed all of them. So I got a bunch of guys going crazy for my picks again. One of those deals where, things are slow. The subscriber count is like frozen. And then I'm like, okay, here's some football picks. And it's like, kabam! Thousands of subs showing up overnight. Funny how that works. So, anyway, we'll probably have some newbies tonight. Some people who are new to my live streams who showed up because of the picks or the football content just recently. So I'm thinking we'll welcome in the new subs and consolidate the conspiracy crowd and the comedy crowd and the football crowd, and we'll kind of gather everyone together and get everybody all under one roof talking and hanging out together. And hopefully we can all get along. All right. I know I have different types of audiences tonight. There's going to be some football guys who just stumble in here who have no idea what sort of shenanigans we get into in these live streams. So hopefully they can hang around and maybe they'll find something that they dig about what I do outside of football. Because believe it or not, this is not a football channel. This is a truth channel. And when the football season ends, I go back to making conspiracy content and truth content for my hardcore subs who've been here the longest. All right, so it looks like we got somebody giving away some gifted memberships. Hyper Spiky 71 with 5 gifted memberships. Wow, awesome. Good to see. All right. Speaking of, I need to start making some new members only content. I've slacked on the members only content recently, so I will start pumping out new members only stuff. I got some ideas for doing some vlogs and stuff with my new camera. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to juggle the sports content and make other content. And I got a few ideas where I can do like a day in the life of a YouTuber, a day in the life, where you guys basically are living through my point of view. I can take my camera out for a walk and take my dog out, spout off about whatever. And so I'll run some different types of content up the flagpole, intermixed with the football content, so that anybody who doesn't like the football content, you can still get some other non-football content. I'm going to try and keep everyone happy. It's going to be tricky, but I'm going to give it a go. All right. And I know some of you guys are sports ball nuts and you are here because of the picks or the plays or whatever. I understand that. And then some of you guys don't care about the football and you just want me to make you laugh, talk about something interesting. So I got to try and do both things. And no, I'm not starting a new channel and splitting my audiences. Not going to happen. All right. So, what do you guys want to talk about tonight? I got to be honest, I kind of stumbled in here tonight without a whole lot to give you guys because I've been working on the top 10 plays of the week all day long and last night. So, I didn't really get a chance to prepare much for the stream. So, I thought I would just wing it, you know, just wing it a bit. And Holden sent me an article about The Rock and why he's all slimmed down. It says Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson recently turned heads at the Venice Film Festival with a noticeably slimmed down physique, and now he has revealed the reason for his transformation. Speaking at the Toronto Film Festival on Monday, Johnson confirmed that his new look is for his next film role, which he will play a whimsical, eccentric 70-something-year-old character. Oh, well, that makes sense that he lost like 100 pounds of muscle and is way too small to be the same guy. It's for a movie role. So we can all just pretend it's the same guy because it's for a movie. The new film will see him reteam with Benny Sadifi. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Safdie, the acclaimed director of his other upcoming film, The Smashing Machine, which has been earning rave reviews on the festival circuit. The commitment to these projects explains his current absence from WWE programming and casts doubt on a potential in-ring return. Also, they got perfect excuses why he hasn't been making any WWE appearances and why he's all slim now. And the answer is movies. Just movies. That's all you need to know. All right, before I continue, I got a super chat that just came in. So before I get to running my mouth and forget all about it, let me read this super chat from Hyper Spiky 71. He said, "Much love, Jake. Keep up the excellent work. Some scratch for the bone fun for Ralphie." Oh, I appreciate that. And Ralph does as well. Thanks, man, for gifting the memberships and coming in with the first super chat of the night. Really appreciate it. Hyper Spiky 71. Awesome. Starting off strong. So the article says the Rock's new role. He immediately told the director, "I am your chicken man. I am your chicken man." The new movie is called Lizard Music, an adaptation of a Daniel Pinkwater novel that, according to the report from Variety, tells the story of a septuagenarian. I don't even know if I've ever heard that word. Whose best friend is a 70-year-old chicken. What? What in the fuck am I even reading? You know what? After reading that sentence, I don't think I want to read anymore. Septuagenarian chicken? The Rock's going to be a septuagenarian chicken, you guys. A 70-year-old septuagenarian chicken. All right. Sounds like it's going to be a great movie. Gotta love that woke Hollywood. And The Rock is so dedicated to acting and becoming these roles that he's willing to lose his physique that he worked on for his whole life, basically. Yeah, for sure. I totally buy that. All right, so let me show you guys what The Rock looked like not long ago. All right. Or actually, here's The Rock's new look. Like, he's barely bigger than this tiny girl. So now The Rock is barely bigger than this tiny girl. You guys, Dwayne Johnson, the original Rocky Maivia, was like 6'4", maybe even 6'5". This doesn't look like a 6'5" man. I'm sorry, but that to me is not the original Dwayne Johnson. That ain't Rocky Maivia. That is some other dude. If he's barely bigger than that chick, what does that tell you? It just looks weird to me. There's like a slight resemblance to The Rock, but not much. And the thing is, like, if we go back to like 2004, 2024, not long ago, he was like 6'5" and 275, right? Let me pull up The Rock from just last year. All right, so The Rock from not even a full year ago, like 6 months ago, he was 275 pounds and jacked. Right? So, kind of funny how all they got to do is be like, it's for a movie. Oh, it's for a movie? So he lost like 100 pounds of muscle and like, I don't know, it looks like 3-4 inches from his height or more for a movie. Oh, okay. That would be like me for a movie becoming as big as The Rock used to be in like 6 months. Imagine if I grew to be 6'5" and 275. And I was like, it's for a movie. I was 5'7", and now I'm fucking 6'5". It's for a movie. Yeah, so I think The Rock is possibly going to be a future president, maybe even the next president. He said in an interview that he was for sure willing to be the president. He said for sure. Izzy Tech says National Fixed League season. Happy National Fixed League season. Yes, indeed. The football season is back, and I just dropped my first top 10, and the views are looking good so far. So, yeah, I've been working on it all day, and then I realized, oh, yeah, it's Truth or Tuesday. I got to go live. So I debated whether or not to push tonight's stream back to Wednesday or just push it back an hour and just do it anyway. And so here we are, doing it anyway, even though I'm tired. All right, Izzy Tech, thank you very much, man. I appreciate the super chat. So we either have a dumbass here or maybe he's kidding. I'm hoping that this guy's being sarcastic. Rock is 100% natural hard work. Yeah, I'm hoping that you're being sarcastic, bro. If you're not being sarcastic, then you're in the wrong place. Here's the deal. Whenever somebody says that the sun used to be yellow, but now it's white, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, because whenever I see the sun start to set, it gets all big and orange. And if I stare right at the sun at any time during the day when it's at its brightest, it flickers different colors. So when I stare right at the sun, I see bright white, bright yellow, and it also will kind of like turn like a purplish, and it's like it flashes almost rapidly. So I don't know if that's what you guys see, but when I see my sun, it rapidly flashes almost like it swirls like a bluish purplish thing, and yellow and white. And then towards the evening, as it's setting, it gets big and orange. So if you see a white thing the entire day, even when it sets, I don't know, then that means we're seeing some different shit. So I have never said that the sun used to be yellow and now it's white, but I've heard many, many people say that, which leads me to believe we are experiencing looking at the sun in different ways, because I don't see it as just a white thing. So if that's what you see, that is not my experience at all, sir. And when I was a kid, I had like a similar experience. I would see purple and blue swirling in there along with the yellow and the white. So it hasn't changed for me. But for other people who swear it used to be yellow and now it's white, maybe it is for you. I don't know. And if there's wildfires, like here in California, sometimes there's the wildfires. It's more like controlled arson. Anyway, so when there's a bunch of smoke in the air, it will actually make the sun just look like an orange disc the entire day. And I've heard the government in some documents refer to the sun as a disk. And my favorite rock and roll band, Blue Oyster Cult, they have a song called Extraterrestrial Intelligence. And the first set of lyrics in that song is I hear the music, daylight disc. 3 Men in Black said, don't report this. I hear the music, daylight disc. And then if you go look up different government documents about the sun, there's a few times where they'll reference the sun as a solar disk. They will. I've even found NASA referencing the sun in a few cases as a solar disk. So why would they tell us it's a burning ball of gas 93 million miles away? And then also slip in occasionally that it's a disk. Pretty strange, huh? Aunt Laura's house says, do you think train incident is stage? I do. Was there something that went down with a train today? I didn't watch any news today, so whatever's trending in the news as of today, I missed it because I was working on the damn NFL video all day today. So let me look up train. Let's see what happens here. Oh, Charlotte trains slaughter. Yeah, that's new to me. Man faces federal charge and stabbing of Ukrainian refugee on Charlotte train. Oh, we could check that out. I don't mind watching a video about that and seeing what they're saying because I haven't looked into it at all. So might as well go ahead and take a peek at that. All right. I'll just pull up any random video about it and see what they have to say. We'll just break it down right here, right now. See, sometimes I need to rely on you guys to tell me what's going on because I was busy doing other shit. Graphic video captures random fatal stabbing of young Ukrainian refugee. Random fatal stabbing. Ukrainian refugee. And it's mainstream news. Gotcha. Totally random. Yeah, the fact that it's mainstream news, like all I have to do is type in the word train and it pops up. And just looking at it could be AI. I'm really just not buying it personally. So that's my initial reaction. It looks like, and plus they cut the footage, so it's like, oh, this is so graphic. It's the most graphic footage, and they cut it. So I don't know if there's uncut footage because this is the first time I've laid eyes on it. But they could be testing out their AI on us, seeing what they can get us to go along with, whatnot. So thank you, Aunt Laura's house. I appreciate the donation, and yes, I do agree with you. All right, there we go. Covering some news. Here's a good comment about me rubbing eggs on my head. For those of you who are new here or who missed it, I rubbed egg on my head, raw egg into my hair during a live stream. And it was because I heard that it's good for your hair. And so now I got somebody here sending me a super chat saying, Jake, your hair looks thicker since the egg treatment. My first super chat, longtime subscriber, Adam R. Well, thank you, Adam. Believe it or not, I did the egg treatment again last night. And it was because I ran out of eggs and haven't had any for a few days. And my hair was feeling a little bit dry, and it kind of felt like it was not as strong as it was last week. I don't know. And so I thought I would go ahead and go get another crate of eggs and put one in my hair. So last night I did the egg treatment. And you know what? Now it feels soft and nice again. And I also did the egg treatment on my face. So I'm 42 years old, keeping myself looking young and beautiful with the power of raw eggs. That's right. I rub raw egg in my hair and on my face, and then I let it sit and dry. Then I just rinsed it off, and I think it's looking pretty good, huh? So, if you ever get raw egg on your hands and you're afraid of E. coli, just know I rubbed it all over my face and my hair and let it dry, and I drink raw eggs, and I never have a problem. In fact, it seems like it's doing me pretty good. Got motherfuckers sending me money talking about it. So maybe Crazy Jake, who rubs egg in his hair and on his face, maybe he ain't so crazy after all, huh? Or maybe he is. And I just got lucky. Thank you very much, Adam. Raw onions. Awesome super chat, bro. All right. This guy said semen works too. Oh, yeah? Prove it. Rub your own splooge all over your face on camera. And then show us the results, bro. My thing is, if I get similar results with egg, I'll just stick with the egg. You're probably like, dude, you're spending money on the egg. My semen is free, so. All right. Yeah, something about Mary. Yeah. AJ Native says, Jake, some of my Native American people think the sun is turning blue and the earth is a bowl. I just want to know, can we get some land on the moon? Wicked, wicked. Land on the moon, we'll land on the moon. Land on the moon, we'll land on the moon. Land on the moon, we'll land on the moon. Hey, we take the rover, we go to the moon. And then you know that we come back soon. We rove to the left, we rove to the right. Cause beach, you know that we rove all night. We'll land on the moon, we'll land on the moon. Land on the moon, we'll land on the moon. Land on the moon, land on the moon. And yes, my friend, we will come back soon. We take the rover, rove to the moon. Yes, you know we're gonna come back soon. Rove up atop, rove down low. Rove so much we got no place to go. We land on the moon, we land on the moon. Land on the moon, and land on the moon. Land on the moon, we land on the moon. And yes, my friend, we will come back soon. We take the rover, rove to the moon. And yes, you know we're gonna come back soon. Rove to the west, rove to the east. And bitch, you know that we do not rove the least. That we land on the moon, we land on the moon. Man on the moon, man on the moon. Land on the moon, we'll land on the moon. And yes, my friend, we will come back soon. We rove. Everybody now, rove. Oh, come on, my friend, rove. All the ladies say, rove. All the boys say, rove. Rover. Rover. There you go. anybody who's new here is going to be like, what in the fuck was that? And all of the rest of you are going to be like, you would have had to have been here a couple of years ago when Jake made fun of the Indian moon landing in order to get it. And then you're going to be like, what? And they're going to be like, just don't worry about it. Seriously, try and explain that to anyone who's new here. What the fuck that's all about. So yeah, guys, if you're new here, I sing funny songs, and then people will request that I sing that same funny song again. And then, like 6 months, 8 months later, somebody will send me a super chat and ask that I sing that silly song again. And then a year and a half has gone by, and they'll send me money and be like, hey, can you do that silly song again? So I've been singing silly songs for a couple of years now, and it's just part of what I do for a living. I tell the truth. I break down fake, phony football. I make people laugh. And I sing some really fucking stupid ass silly songs. It's what I do. It's what I do. All right. And I actually am a damn good singer. So I can, believe it or not, I can out-sing pretty much every artist that you know of. So any famous artist or singer, there's a good chance I can out-sing them, outperform them. I don't even need a microphone. I don't need any vocal effects. I can just straight up use my voice and shred damn near any singer you know of. Yep. And I'm not even in a rock and roll band. And you know why? The rock and roll industry is nothing like it used to be. In the record making industry, nothing like it used to be. So I found that by walking away from the music and expressing myself as a comedian and doing whatever I want, I actually have more freedom of expression than I did musically. So back in the day, I used to try and be like the funkiest bass player. And then I realized that I could connect to more people and express myself much more effectively if I just set down the bass and speak how I feel all the time. And then it turned into my career. So, yeah, I could have been a career musician if I just would have stuck with that and not started doing this. But I started doing this and I didn't stick with that. So here we are. Hi, I'm a dime store Keanu Reeves knockoff. I have an opinion that's extremely woke, and then I'm going to try and mix in a joke about Puff Daddy putting up his baby oiled penis inside of a child's booty hole. I'm going to make a joke about P. Diddy lubing up his black penis and sticking it inside of a child. I think that sort of thing is funny to talk about. I'm also going to act like it seriously triggers me and makes me angry. The fact that P. Diddy likes to lube up his big black penis and stick it inside of children really makes me upset. This is how I feel. This is how I make a living. I'm going to get 1 million views on this video in 24 hours. I deserve to have millions of views for everything I think and say. There you go. No, dude, I'm trying to do an accurate portrayal of Penguin Zero, and that's how he is. That's how he sounds to me. Literally, he says stuff exactly like what I just did. That wasn't even that much of an over the top, over exaggerated impression. That's pretty much just a dead on Penguin Zero impression. Replacement Skylight says, you need to do a live tour, music, stand up, and truthing. It sounds good in theory, but getting people to show up live to a venue is tricky. Some of your, the most famous bands in the world are having issues selling tickets right now. So entertainment industry is in a slump. You got legacy bands who were doing great a year or two ago are now struggling to sell tickets. Like for instance, Judas Priest and Alice Cooper are teaming up for a tour and they can't sell fucking tickets. If you go look at the Judas Priest Alice Cooper tour, they can't they can't sell out any venue. So like every single venue they're playing at, there's thousands of open seats for that tour. Looks like they're going to have to give away a shitload of tickets. And so, you know, if you got famous bands that can't sell right now, it might not behoove me in 2025 or 2026 during a recession when people are poor to try and go out and do that. So as much as I like performing and I like performing live, to travel costs a lot of money. So just the travel for me to go from like let's say here to Denver, Colorado, that's 2 days of driving, what 3-4 gas tanks to get there, right? And then food and drinks and stuff, and then I got to get back home. So the cost of gas and travel outweighs the money I would make selling tickets. You see what I'm saying? So that's another big deal. The artist getting to the venue and then selling enough tickets or coming up with enough money to make it worth my while. So just me going here in California to the coast, which is only 2 hours away, and then 2 hours back, that eats up a gas tank, right? And then food and drinks while I'm there. So just me going over to the coast for like a night or two, that'll eat up like $100. So for me to go to like, let's say Denver, it's probably going to be, I don't know, $200 or so just to get there, and then another 200 to get home. So, and then if I, add in other stops and stuff, you know what I mean? Like more stops and more venues. Then it's like I have to sell out every single venue and get, and sell a bunch of tickets at every spot. And right now, I think that'd be tricky. So I can do a live stream and everyone has a front row ticket, but it's not the same as a full on in person live experience. But if I was to try and set up a one man tour, a one man comedy music tour, I could probably get, 20 people in every major city, around 20 people if I promoted it. But is 20 people paying $10-20 a person, is that going to be able to fund the whole thing? I don't think so. So with the cost of travel, man, it would just be a losing venture, but it would be fun. So I would like to perform live for you guys. I really would. But this is like the way we got to do it right now, because most people can't afford to travel. Most people can't afford to spend money on comedy. So that's another thing. A lot of you guys out there might not have the money to drive a couple hours to come see me and then buy a ticket and all that stuff, right? So if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you might not even be able to afford to come see me. you know? So I wish things were different, but that's not the case. Got someone asking for, and it looks like I missed a super chat just a few minutes ago. Let me go back and get that one. Looks like I got a few requests for some impersonations. Impersonate Richie from Boston, convincing Elmo Bigfoot is real. So I've been saying for a long time, there is something out there in the woods that is not human. I've come across on several different occasions. Even when I was out with some of my subscribers, we were out in a 4x4 in the backwoods. Not only were we in Idaho when I saw these tracks, I have also seen the same tracks in other states, such as Montana and Colorado. So I know there is something out there that is not human, that is leaving giant footprints in the dirt. I really do believe that it is Bigfoot. Call me crazy. I really don't care. I know what's real. I've seen the tracks with my own two eyes.
me and my subscribers, we smelled a distinct smell. There's an odor that a Bigfoot has.
Elmo thinks that you're full of shit. Elmo doesn't believe in Bigfoot, and Elmo thinks that anyone who believes in Bigfoot is fucking retarded.
All right, let me get this straight. Let me digress before I continue. Elmo, you are indeed a puppet. And I have been traveling this great earth for a long time. Even before you were a puppet on Sesame Street, I was traveling around this country. I've been overlanding for a long time. And I was sitting vaping in my truck just the other night, and I heard this noise, and it sounded just like a Bigfoot would sound. If you were to conjure up the way a Bigfoot would sound, I swear that's exactly how it sounds. And there's a distinct odor associated with these creatures. It's not human. All I can tell you is you got to get under your bed. You got to read your Bible. All right? You got to repent to God, because these big feet, I don't know what else to call them, they're multiplying. And one day they might become more populated than the human race. All right, as we know, the population of the human race is going down. Population of big feet is going up.
Elmo does not believe anything that you're saying. Elmo thinks that you are a retarded, controlled opposition shell. At any rate, Elmo will digress. Please like, share, and subscribe, or don't.
There you go. There you go. A little Richie from Boston trying to convince Elmo that Bigfoot is real. Then I also had another comedic request come in. So I do impersonations. I do some of the best impersonations in the world, but I don't impersonate everyone. So if you ask me to do an impersonation of somebody who I've never impersonated, there's a chance I might swing and miss. But if you've seen me do a good impersonation, and then you ask me to do that impersonation, and then you want me to mix that with some other impersonation and have the two meet and interact, I'm the type of guy who can have characters meet and mingle who would never meet and mingle in real life. And the only way to get these characters to meet and mingle in fantasy is through my impersonation skills. Giant Squid says, "Hi, Jake. I like your impersonation and songs. I will come back with more money and ask you to do a Tom Grossi impersonation." I'm a Lions fan on week 1. I thought we were going to be good this year, but we're about to lose our first game to the Packers. I hate losing to the Packers. Hi, I'm Tom Grossi, and I'm a Packers fan. I'm so glad that we get to beat the Lions in the opening game. We look so good. I can't wait to go lick Perna's taint and drink his jizz while I brag about how well my Packers did on week 1. I'm such a fanboy. If the NFL was scripted, I would do a fucking stupid video just like this. If the NFL was scripted, I would say something fucking retarded to cover up for the fact that the NFL is scripted. I'm going to go shove my head up Roger Goodell's asshole right now. If the NFL was scripted. There you go. There's Tom Grossi. Anyone who knows who Tom Grossi is knows that that's a damn good impression. One time somebody sent one of my videos to him, and he was like, "Yeah, some people don't like my content. That's fine." And Perna was like, "Yeah, none of us like your content." And then they just moved on. So he has seen my videos. And he's just like, "Some people don't like me, I guess." Jonna says, "Hi Jake, could you please do an impression of Sylvester Stallone and Cheech Marin attending a BOC concert?" Wow, that's a different request that I've never been asked before.
Hey, yo, I've been a big time fan of BOC for a long time. One of my favorite songs is Godzilla. The guitar riff, I really like the way Bob plays the guitar riff to Godzilla. I think it's a pretty good song.
Hey man, I also like BOC, man. I've been a BOC fan ever since 1972, man. Man, I'm BOC for life, man. Man, at one time I ate too much acid, man, and they were playing Don't Fear the Reaper, and I thought I fucking died, man. I thought I went to heaven, and I thought Buck was like some angel playing guitar, man. Like, no, Don't Fear the Reaper, la, 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 man. That's my favorite song, man.
Yeah, like, I was telling Adrian the other day, Adrian, what do you think I'm dumb? What do you think I'm stupid? What do you think I got no brains? Of course, BOC. I'm going to see BOC. Yeah, what do you think? What do you think I'm dumb? And then I was trying to tell Uncle Paulie, I was like, Paulie, you want to go see BOC? And he didn't want to go with me, so I came to the concert solo. But even though I'm by myself, I still have a good time.
Yeah, man, I came to the concert by myself too, man. That's because I don't need to have any friends to go see my favorite band, man. When I come to watch BOC, man, all of the fans there, they're like my family, man. Us BOC fans, man, we got to stick together as say home, man. We're like family here.
Yeah, man. I agree. This is gonna be a good show tonight.
Yeah, man. Let's rock and roll. Hey, man, you want to eat some mushrooms before the show, man?
Maybe just a little one. I also like to eat Oreos. I like to take the Oreo and I like to lick the cream and then put it back together and then eat the Oreo.
All right. I don't know where I was going with that. But there you go. There's Sylvester Stallone and Cheech at a Blue Oyster Cult show. That's what would happen. I mean, what else would they say? Go try and ask anyone else to do that and see what the fuck they come up with. I guarantee it won't be as good as what I just did. Now there's people who are like, "Oh, you're such a narcissist." Go ask somebody to do Sylvester Stallone at a Blue Oyster Cult concert with Cheech, and you see what they do, and then compare and contrast to what I just did, and then you come back and tell me which one was better. Clearly, I'm going to be the winner. All right. And yes, I agree. Russian Vids is a tard, and anyone who follows him and listens to him is also a tard. All right. A guy named his name was Russian Vids, first name Russian, last name Vids. Yeah, some guy who won't give his name and won't show his face calls me Jake the Fake. Oh, ouch. A fucking government agent controlled opposition bitch, too afraid to show his fucking face or give his name, gonna say that I'm a fake and a baby truther. Ouch. That really hurts my feelings. Whatever shall I do besides say, fuck that stupid shill bitch? And anyone who follows him, fuck you too. Can I do a Trump impression? Well, I got to tell you, my Trump impression has changed over the years. It used to be more like this, and I would tell people that I'm going to implement Trumptricity into all of your lovely homes. We're going to replace electricity. It's outdated. Quite frankly, it's crusty. It's dusty. What we have is a more leaner, meaner, greener, far superior technology, and it's called Trumptricity. We're going to save billions and billions and billions, and we're going to have China finance the entire thing. So that's how Trump used to sound. But now, new AI Trump, this new imposter Trump, is sounding more like Joe Biden or somebody else. It's almost like this new version of Trump is sounding different and saying these weird broken sentence fragments. So I got to say, AI Trump that they've rolled out on TV, has been messing up my impression, making Trump sound different. So my last live stream, just last Tuesday, I did my Trump impression several times, and I was pointing out how the current version of Trump is looking and sounding way different than he did 4 years ago. You want to know something? Canada called, and they said, we want to be a part of this Trumptricity. Shortly after that, Mexico was on the line. They were like, we're on board as well. And then, of course, China, they texted and they were like, ching chong, we want a part of this. But I think we're going to go ahead and keep this as an American product. We're going to tax anyone who wants to be a part of this. In fact, we're going to put a tariff on Trumptricity. So all of you lovely Americans, you're going to get Trumptricity at half the cost of everyone else. Any of these other countries, come a knocking, come wanting my Trumptricity. I'm going to tariff their ass right back to Kingdom Come. We're going to tariff the living fuck out of all these countries. We're going to save billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions. All right, there you go. Little Trumptricity for that ass. Looks like I got someone buying a membership asking for a request.
Yeah, piece of shit. I am a sick old man and a fucking backstabbing bitch. I obsess about gay sex in all my videos, piece of shit. That's right. I'm always thinking about gay sex, and that is why I make everyone in my videos say gay things that they never said. You piece of shit. It turns out I am the biggest fucking piece of shit of all. You watch my video, you turn into a piece of shit because I'm obsessed with gay sex. I'm going to make Jake talk about having sex with his dog because I am obsessed with having sex with animals, piece of shit.
There you go. Oh no, I hope he doesn't make another slander video about me and include this. That's gonna hurt me so bad. Oh yeah, nobody gives a fuck about his irrelevant channel. Meanwhile, guess who's blowing up? Yeah, nobody watches him anymore because he's obsessed with gay sex. That's why he makes videos about other men and includes them talking about gay sex. So anyone over there watching him like, oh, you're so funny. Oh, good one. That's so funny. Yeah, that means they like content that obsesses over gay sex and bestiality. So anyone who wants to go enjoy that, yeah, have fun with that. Yeah, see, the funny thing is, none of the people who are subscribing to my channel now have any fucking clue who that is. And they don't care. And guess what? He doesn't exist in my world anymore. So as far as I'm concerned, that could be the last time I ever mention him. Wouldn't bother me at all. He can kiss my fucking ass. And if he wants to obsess over me and slander me in every single video, do it. All it is attention for me. And he does nothing to grow his channel, and he just spews anger and hatred. So if that's what he wants to do with his life, spew anger and hatred and obsess over gay sex, have at it. One thing we haven't seen is him and his wife. Yeah. Where is this wife of his? I would like to see him and his wife. Yeah, I'd like to see him and his wife kissing, showing how much they love each other. Let's see him and his wife having some straight sex, showing us all how it's done. But that's one thing we don't see, him and his wife loving each other. Maybe there is no wife. Hi, Jake. Great NFL picks. Would you be able to add player props? No. I don't even know the players' names, bro. I barely can keep track of the quarterbacks. So I know the quarterbacks and a handful of other players, but like a lot of you guys know more players than me. And then the fanboys, they know all the players and all the stats. So here's the deal. I went 4-0, and I don't fucking care about the players or the stats. So me being the prop guy, nah. What I do is I listen to the narrative, I look at the public money, and then I just think of how a fanboy is going to pick the game. And then I mainly will do the opposite of that. And that's kind of how I make my picks. And so the reason I was able to start so strong in week 1 is because I only picked 4 games that I felt like I had an advantage. And it was games that I felt like they were going to rob the public. And I was right. With player props, there's nothing there for me to know who's going to fucking score a touchdown for sure in any given game, right? Like Kelsey might score a touchdown in the next game, or they might have Kelsey not score a touchdown in the next 3 games. There's no way for me to know, right? Whereas like whether the Chiefs are going to win, lose, or cover, like I feel like there's more information that I can figure out, like a game result, more so than a player, what they're going to do. So sorry, man, no player props from me. I'm just going to keep it to only the games that I feel like there's some sort of information that tell me one way or the other how the result's going to go down. It gives me some sort of an advantage. So those are the only games I'm going to pick. So far, it's worked out. So I'm just going to stick to that. Connecting Studio said eggs are working. Looks like I've rubbing raw meat on my face too. So yeah, I rubbed some raw hamburger meat on my face so that the animal fat would like fill in my wrinkles and rejuvenate and hydrate my skin. And then I rubbed egg on my face and in my hair. And now look, I'm getting people commenting about how it looks like it's working. Meanwhile, there are women who pay big money for harsh chemicals, toxic chemicals that they rub in their face and hair. And if they only knew that they could take an egg and get better results. Funny how that works, huh? But yeah, you got to be ballsy enough to do the opposite of what other people think is healthy, right? So like if I drink an egg, there's always people who go, oh my God, E. coli, germs. What? I'm like, dude, nothing's going to happen. And then if I rub the egg on my face and hair, there's always going to be people who are like, ew, gross, you're going to die, E. coli. What? But then you got people saying, dude, your hair looks good. Looks like the eggs are working. So I guess I should continue then, huh? And I'll bet you some of you guys are going to end up rubbing egg on your face and in your hair because you saw this. So next time you're rubbing egg all over your face and in your hair. Yep. Where'd you learn that? The thing with coconut oil is I hear that like they're faking coconut oil and that it's not really made of coconuts. and that they're like, it's like partially real coconut oil, and then they mix other shit and oils in there, and they just call it coconut oil. There's a lot of fake food out there. And so I used to like coconut oil and stuff too, but then I heard that like olive oil and coconut oil and a lot of these oils are fake and not really made from pure coconuts or olives. So last night I just did one egg and it covered my whole head, and I'd had some left over for my face. So yeah, I mixed it up with a fork, and then I added like 4 or 5 drops of lavender oil. So it smelled good, and then it had the lavender oil in there, which helps maybe moisturize the hair too a little bit. If anything, it just smells good. So I added like 4 drops of the lavender oil just to try that out. So, but that's all. And you can also add aloe as well. So I've heard online that if you add aloe to the mixture, it's like more hydrating, and can even be a hair regrowth serum of sorts. Had a friend that washed her hair with milk. Yeah, you'd be surprised how animal products are better at cleaning than these harsh chemicals. In fact, I found a way to make my own laundry detergent, and I found this soap that is super powerful, but the ingredients are very basic and it's super cheap. Check it out. This one right here, the Zote bar. They sell a white one and a pink one, and this has only a few ingredients. Sodium tallowate. Sodium tallowate. Tallow is fat. That's beef fat. And then sodium cocoate, glycerin, fragrance, and optical brightener. So basic stuff inside this soap. This soap is only $1.59, so like $2 for one of these, and it's super powerful, super potent, and you can make 5 gallons of laundry detergent. 5 gallons from one bar. So you grate this up like in a cheese grater, grate it up, and then you mix it in with some water, hot water, mix it up, and then you add in add this stuff, washing soda and borax. And these are cheap too. This is like $8 for this big box, and then this stuff was probably like $7-8, and this is another big box. So these last a good long time. So if you do washing soda, borax, and the Zote bar, you can make your own laundry detergent. You can make 5 gallons worth for cheap. And then when that runs out, you just buy another Zote bar, and then you already have these 2, and then you can make another 5 gallons. So there's like a bunch of recipes online for exactly what I told you. And so some people add a little more borax, some people add a little more soda. So basically, you can probably find, I don't know, 50, 100 different recipes for what I just showed you. So what I need to do is make my own video where I show you guys how to make your laundry detergent with this stuff. And this stuff is it's like natural. This borax stuff, it's like little tiny, like little rocks. Washing soda, it's basically like baking soda. And then we got this loser here who likes to say stuff like, "I'm seeing your mom tonight." Dude, what a fucking loser. anyone still talking about sleeping with my mom, like, dude, my mom's dead. I'm a 42-year-old man. You're not going to fucking hurt my feelings by saying that. I'm just going to ban you from the chat. Yeah. So I'm a 42-year-old man. My mother has passed away. And there are people who show up to my stream and talk about how they want to have sex with my mother. That's not the first time. Like, that same dude shows up to every stream and does that. He thinks it's so funny. Yeah, we live in a world where there's still a bunch of fucking losers out there who live at home with their mom and eat Hot Pockets, who talk about having sex with other guys' moms who are no longer alive. So funny. I'm sure your parents are so proud of you. You know, watching my stream, talking about fucking my mother. I'm sure your whole family thinks that you are such a splendid human being. Oh, you don't have to be sorry. She passed away, you know, a couple of years ago, but just the fact that, like, you know, this is a grown man. There's no children who are watching who do that. This is a grown man who's fucking sick and demented and thinks that that sort of thing's funny, and that, like, oh, I'm gonna like mess up his stream and I'm gonna like hurt his feelings by doing this. Oh, I'm having sex with your mom. Oh, I'm in the shower with your mom. Oh, what a bunch of god-awful fucking losers. Yeah, and these people show up to try and ruin our good time. So if we're having a good time and I'm making you guys laugh, there's a fucking deplorable loser out there. Multiple losers who don't like that we're having a good time. And so they show up and say stuff like that, specifically just to try and ruin our good time. So I ban those guys, and then I continue on doing what I'm doing. And I don't let it stop me, but I do like to point out that there's fucking losers who show up and try and troll me. And as you can see, they have no life. If you ain't got haters, then you ain't poppin'. Yeah, I know. If you're doing anything good, there's always going to be jealous haters. Oh, it'd be different if he showed up and said, yo, mama's so fat, she sat on a quarter and squeezed a booger out of George Washington's nose. Ha 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 ha. You know, it wasn't like that, dude. No, this guy has done this in several streams, shows up and talks about sex with my mother. Like a real fucking sick, disgusting loser. Yeah, it's usually projection from sick bastards who are thinking about that sort of thing in their own head already. You know? So I've talked about the National Guard thing, I think a little bit last stream and maybe a few weeks back as well. So there are no National Guard doing anything. Find me one example of troops fighting crime in any city. There's no video of any troops having a shootout with gangbangers. Right? There's no videos of the troops walking down the street and shaking down hoodlums and taking their weapons and drugs. There's no footage of any soldiers fighting any crime. There's only a story that troops are going to the hood to fight crime. And then they show you on TV a picture of a guy in fatigues or a video clip of a guy in fatigues. What you don't see is anyone in fatigues fighting criminals and winning. Show me some fucking dudes in fatigues with rifles, automatic weapons, having a shootout with some black gangstas over on the south side, and then having the military win the battle, and I'll be like, holy fuck, they're actually fighting crime. But you won't see that. You won't see any of the soldiers shooting any of the hoodlums. So what they say is Washington, D.C. has lower crime since the soldiers showed up. According to who? Them? So then they can be like, wherever the soldiers go, crime goes down. These are proven facts. Crime went down in Chicago once the soldiers showed up. Okay, show me one example of the soldiers fighting crime. Jake, there are no examples, but the statistics don't lie. Crime's down. So that's how that works. For all you know, there's no soldiers anywhere. They just show you a soldier on TV and be like, look, here's a soldier. They're on the streets fighting crime. If anything, yes, there's a war on the homeless, right? Now I hear they're giving people tickets and going after people who are sleeping in their vehicles. Don't anybody listen to this Jake the Fake Awake. He's a libtard. He done voted for Kamala. You got to trust a plan. Trump is a businessman. He's running the country like a business. And right now, he's winning the war right now against the deep state. He's playing 5D chess. I keep track of the Q drops because I'm smart and I know all about what's going on behind the scenes. Trump right now, he's draining the swamp. And this Jake the Awake guy, some sort of libtard done voted for Kamala. Yep. Looks like I got a super chat from Sign Maker. Says flat earther for 4 years or so until about 3 days ago. The simple proof of the globe is that there's no way around the verifiable distance between converging longitudinal lines. How do you explain? I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You're a flat earther until 3 days ago. So you come here to my channel and want to make me explain? Thanks for your money, but I don't recognize you. And if you've only been a flat earther for 4 years, what took you so long? Huh? You weren't a flat earther back in 2015 or 16 when the topic blew the fuck up? So I find that strange that you were a flat earther for 4 years and then just 3 days ago you changed your mind because of longitudinal lines converging. So let me ask you this. Have you left the planet's atmosphere, went to outer space and floated around and saw the Earth as a ball with your own 2 eyes? Come back and let me know next time you leave the planet's surface and see the Earth as a ball with your own 2 eyes. Come back and let me know when that happens. And even then, I still won't believe you. So, thanks for the donation. Don't believe you. In fact, that's something a fucking globetard would say. I'm a former flat earther, and the reason why is because of longitudinal lines. Can you explain? Sounds like something fucking MC Toon would say while pretending to be a flat earther. Is that you, MC Toon? Is that you, Craig? All good, man. Just confirming you're also cultish about the position. No. The government lies about space travel. And so, if the only people who've left the planet's surface and seen the Earth as a ball with their own two eyes, all of them work for the government, and the government lies about space travel, well, I don't believe them motherfuckers. And so, you can call me or my audience cultish or whatever you want. I think you're full of shit. And if you're not, and you actually did go back to the globe, have fun, Bo. Have fun, Bo. Have fun, bro. Have fun spinning on a cartoon paroid in Floaty Land that you're never going to get to go to. Yeah. So I guess you're going to what? Think that the moon landing's real also? Space station's real now also? According to Jaren, who flip-flopped, the moon landing is also real now. So are you going to be one of those guys that flip-flops on the globe and also says the moon landing is real? Space station is real? Or are you going to say that those are fake, but the Earth is a ball? How's that going to work? If you can bet on it, it's fixed. No exceptions. Well, what about college? Yes, college too. College basketball, fixed. College baseball, anything with a line where you can bet money, it's fixed. They have players in place who will take a dive. Even two small colleges, they have players being scouted by the NBA who will throw a game. And they have the technology in the ball and the hoop. So even a small college basketball game, they can manipulate that too. If you can bet on it, it's fixed. No exceptions. None. Connecting Studio says don't ban. Well, I just banned a guy talking about sex with my mother again. Are you telling me not to ban people? Because it's my channel, and I ban whoever I damn well please. So this guy Signmaker says flat earth is a cult after all. It's not the first time I found myself in one. It happened to me as a radical leftist in climate change activism. Now I know you're a fucking liar. Because the controlled rollout was a bunch of fucking government agents and shills and actors. So yeah, you can say that that was a cult of fucking shills. I'm not part of the controlled rollout. I'm a real dude. I never ran a cult. In fact, I called out all the shills and agents. And one of the agents who I called out flip-flopped and is saying stupid shit like you. So now I totally don't believe you. I used to be a left winger. I was in a cult, and that is how I know that the planet Earth is a cult. Because I used to be in a left wing cult. I used to be in a climate change cult, and that's how I know that you are a cult too. Thank you for confirming that you're a cult. Okay. Yeah, very convincing. I'm sure you convince so many people here that I'm running a cult. Good job, dude. You didn't play yourself out at all. You totally made me look bad with that statement about how you used to be in a fucking lefty cult. Moron. You just made yourself look like a fucktard, not me. You just confirmed that you are a fucktard. I was never in some lefty climate change cult, nor was I in a flat earth cult for very long. In fact, I was only in the flat earth cult for a very short time, and then I called out the fact that it was a controlled rollout being run by a bunch of fucking agents and shills. So I've been ahead of this game for a long time, and I still am. In fact, I'm the number one truth teller in the motherfucking world. That's why I saw right through you within like reading 3-4 words of the fucking super chat that you sent. Don't you love how sock accounts and no-namers will come here and try and like damage my credibility, but then in the process they just make themselves look like fucking tard muffins? Replacement Skylight says he's got a shirtless selfie as his avatar. That's how you know he's a real tough dude. Oh, now you're a flat earther who had some. You said that you're not a flat earther and that you're a glober 3 days ago. So now you just contradicted yourself. You said that you went back to the globe because of longitudinal lines, but now you're calling yourself a flat earther, trying to make me feel bad, as if I just attacked one of my own kind, right? I'm too smart for this shit. So Will Duffy and his final debate and his final experiment and all the shills, yeah, all those fucking losers don't matter to me. They're irrelevant. They're in my rear view mirror. This channel has moved on. This channel will continue to talk about all sorts of other subjects outside of the flat earth topic. So for instance, I made some football picks. I just put out a video with my top 10 most scripted plays. Has nothing to do with the shape of the earth, and I'm getting thousands and thousands of views. More views than the Globe Cucks or those controlled flat earth channels combined. So what the fuck do I care about any of that shit? Suzette Ann says, do Roseanne coming on to Trump and Trump's reaction.
Greetings, Earthlings, Anunnaki, and all of the Nephilim out there, and all of the aliens who might be watching. Tonight we have a very, very special guest. I'm seriously gonna pee my panties, you guys. We have President Trump as a guest tonight, you guys. We're probably gonna have like a fucking million people watching. Probably gonna be some commies who are trying to fucking destroy MAGA who are gonna be watching. Trump, welcome to my show.
Thanks for having me, Rosie. I know you've been wanting me to come on your show for a long time, so I figured why not do a favor for you. I am the greatest president that there ever was. Nobody loves me more than you. Nobody loves me more than me. And so I thought I would give everybody the greatest gift of all, of course, me. So that's why I'm here right now for you, is because of me and because of you for me. And let me tell you something. Roseanne, I really do appreciate the way you go after all of these commies who are indeed trying to ruin MAGA. And so I want to bring you into my cabinet. I would like you to have a position in politics. I really think you could be doing something better. I think you should be part of my team, part of the Trump team.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, I would totally love to come live with you in the White House. And if you ever want to have, like a threesome, like I'm totally down. I totally don't mind being the third wheel. So I would just love to get with you anytime, Trump, because I don't know if you know this, but like I've been sexually attracted to you since I was a little girl.
Well, there's a lot of women out there, quite frankly, who want to jump my bones, so to speak. But I am a happily married man. And even though you are a very, very beautiful woman, very voluptuous, I am a married man, and I'm a Christian man. So I simply cannot break my vow to my wife. Otherwise, I totally would. In fact, it's a very hard offer for me to turn down. So I'm going to respectfully decline your offer.
Well, all right, snooze you lose, but the offer's still on the table. If you ever want me to eat your ass while Melania is sucking your dick, we can make it happen.
That sounds wonderful, but I'm going to have to pass. Thank you for having me on your show. I actually have something I need to do, so I need to go now. So thank you for having me on your show. Yeah, there's a mental image some of you guys probably didn't want to see.
There's never been a president in the history of my life that got my panties wet like Trump. In fact, when fucking commie creepy Joe was president, it dried my vajayjay like the fucking Sahara Desert.
What? What did it do? There you go, Suzette Ann. This guy's still going. It's almost like fucking Jaren or Micktoon showed up to the chat pretending to be a flat earther. It was just a psyop, dividing people who are trying to be real truth seekers. Again, let me know when you leave the planet's surface and go to outer space and prove that the Earth is a ball by looking at it with your own two eyes. The fact that you're going on and on and on like this, bro, yeah, we all know what you are. Nobody's listening. May as well just have Jaren show up and be like, hey guys, I'm Jaren. I'm honest. The moon landing's real, you guys. I can't believe that people are in a cult and think that the moon landing's fake. I used to be in a cult with the left, and I used to believe in climate change. That's how I know that this is a cult. You guys, I'm Jaren. I always tell the truth. Well, now he's going to say, since I haven't been to outer space, that I can't be sure it's not a ball. Ooh, touche. Yeah, but I did prove that the moon landing's fake, and the space station's fake, and the Mars rover's fake, and the lunar rover's fake, and every space mission I've ever seen is fake. So you're telling me they lie about every single space mission, but Earth is a ball, and they don't lie about that? According to who? The guys who lied about the fucking moon landing and all the other space travel? I should trust them? Nah, not going to happen, buddy. And the fact that you're sticking around here so adamant to try and change anyone's mind, it just leads me to believe you're some sort of fucking shill. I got some trolls tonight. It's because I left the comments open and I didn't make it subscriber mode only. So there's some extra trolls tonight. But that's fine. So here's a question I get a lot about the NFL, like when did it become fake and when did it become scripted? So the scripting can go back as far as Super Bowl III and even earlier. So in Super Bowl III, the highly favored Colts of the NFL got beat by the underdog Jets of the AFL. And the AFL had never beaten the NFL in a Super Bowl. They got crushed twice in a row. And so the third Super Bowl, some would say, had to be scripted in order to ensure that the merger was a success. So when you had the AFL and NFL join and merge, if you would have had one league beat the other league's ass too many years in a row, people would have never taken the AFL serious. So by having the Jets scripted upset the Colts in Super Bowl III. They ensured that the merger was a success. And then from that point forward, it was anybody's game to win the Super Bowl, right? The AFL had just as much chance as the NFL in fans' eyes. So if Super Bowl III was rigged, then you got to figure before that games were rigged. So I don't go back and watch old black and white games, but if I did, I'll bet you we would probably find some phony baloney plays of guys missing tackles on purpose and shit. So perhaps back then, not every player was in on it because there was a lot less money on the line. So I would say, you know, in the 60s, you probably could have had the quarterback and a few star players in on it and just have them throw a game, right? Whereas now you have to have all the players in on it because there's so many different aspects that people can bet on between fantasy football and player props and point totals and all this different stuff. They have to have everybody underneath the control. So I'm guessing back in the day, you didn't need to have every single player, whereas now every single player for sure is in on it. And then also the hits became less frequent, like the big hits that sell the football games as being a contact sport. That went down considerably in the last 10 years. And so when I was a kid in the 90s, they were still hitting. So I remember in the 90s, back when Paul Tagliabue was commissioner, they were still protecting the business, and you were seeing quarterbacks get ran over. You were seeing guys, you know, pick each other up and slam each other down. So they were selling the hits a lot more when I was a kid. And then when Roger Goodell took over, it's almost like he tried to be the Vince McMahon of the NFL and implement a bunch of WWE style tactics. And so ever since Goodell took over, the hits became less frequent. And then in the last 10 years, they've virtually vanished to where now you rarely see anyone get ran over. Maybe once in a game, you see one decent hit. The first Super Bowl was only a couple of years before the first moon landing. Go figure. Is any part of the NFL legit? So I am thinking that they have maybe a few plays per game or maybe a handful of plays where they let the boys scrimmage. So I'm noticing some plays look phony as fuck, but then other plays, the defense actually looks like they're trying. And so I'm thinking if they wanted to make it look semi-real at certain points, they could probably have the guys on both teams scrimmage semi-real. Like if they told the guys on, let's say, a second down and 10, okay, the offense is going to try and pick up the first down. Defense, we want you to try and stop them. Everybody, be nice. Don't anyone hurt anybody. But this is a live play. So imagine a live play where guys are scrimmaging, but not trying to hurt each other, where the defense is trying to swat the ball and the offense is trying to pick up the first down. So what you could have essentially on like a second and 10 is the offense trying to pick up the first down and the defense playing legit defense. And then whatever happens on third down, you could then have a play scripted to offset that. See what I'm saying? So they could have a handful of plays in every game where they let the boys actually scrimmage, and then they could counteract that on the very next play. So if the offense was to pick up a big first down, then on the next two plays, they could have a running back get stuffed on purpose, right? So some plays I see what looks like defenders actually trying to play real defense. And then other times I see the defense literally just letting wide receivers run right past them. And so it makes me think if they want to try and keep it looking semi-real, they could let the boys essentially scrimmage each other as long as they know that they're not to hurt each other. Like if they know, okay, on this play, we're actually going to play real defense, but we're not trying to hurt anyone. And then if they get a result that they don't like, they can always just have a ref throw a fucking flag and call the play off and have them do it again. You know what I mean? So there's some plays that I'm like, wow, that actually resembles somewhat real football. And then there's other plays where it's like, wow, that's the fakest fucking thing I've ever seen. So how can that happen in the same game where you get the fakest fucking plays ever and some plays that look semi-real? Perhaps they're letting the boys scrimmage a little bit. You guys are letting that one dude get to you. I'm seeing you guys in chat reacting to that one guy. He came here to stir up shit. The only reason I haven't booted him is because he sent a super chat. So since he sent a super chat, I was going to just give him the benefit of the doubt and just let him say whatever shit he wants here. But it seems like he's going out of his way to stir up shit. Oh, ass mongled. This is crazy. Oh my God, the Epstein files. Have you guys seen this? Are you fucking serious? Epstein files. Oh, my reaction on the Epstein files. I can't believe this. Are you fucking serious? And then he'll get 1 million views just for doing that. Yeah, Ass Mongold can just act like he's blown away by Epstein files. That's all he has to do is just be like, oh my God, what the fuck? Have you guys seen these Epstein files? Whoa, well, this is my reaction to Epstein files. 1 million views in the first 5 minutes. 20 million views in 24 hours. And of course, he deserves every bit of it. He deserves to be a millionaire for those reactions. And it looks like the guy who likes to keep talking about my mother has unlimited sock accounts. Imagine the kind of loser who creates as many sock accounts as possible just so he can keep coming back to my chat and talking about having sex with my mother. All right, guys. Looks like next week is going to be subscribers only. Yep. And I just might make it to where you have to be subscribed for like a full week in order to fucking chat. Yeah. So that means any of these new accounts that this fucktard is making won't be able to participate next week. Huh? Yep. And we can't leave the chat open because there's fucktards who make sock accounts and show up over and over again and want to ruin it for everybody. So okay, we'll just go to subscriber mode only next week. See if it matters to me. All right. Looks like I got to do a little cleanup here in chat. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put the sign maker guy in a timeout for 24 hours. 24-hour timeout. He gone. True Metal Jake says, "Hey Jake, what's your take on 1947 Roswell space aliens, real or fake?" Well, I don't believe in outer space. I don't think that you can go up high enough and then start floating. So I don't believe that other planets and other galaxies exist the way we're told. So I don't think that that outer space is an infinite space vacuum that goes on forever with all these millions and billions of infinite fucking planets and solar systems and galaxies. And so I don't believe that. And so once I realize outer space is not real and that they're faking outer space, then aliens coming from outer space suddenly seem pretty fake as well. So I think there's more of a chance that there's some other life form uh that possibly runs this realm, but I don't believe that space aliens with flying saucers come here and accidentally crash. So possibly if there's some other life form other than human out there, maybe they exist on a land that we're unaware of, in a place that we can't get to. But I don't believe that space aliens come from other galaxies or other planets or any of that stuff. So that sort of narrative is pushed by Hollywood. And the reason Hollywood pushed all these alien movies and space invader movies, aliens coming to visit humans, is to further push the fake space narrative and get people to believe in outer space and get people's imagination to run wild thinking that there's aliens out there that are possibly visiting us and landing here and stuff like that. So they get you to believe in the outer space narrative by showing you a bunch of movies when you're growing up, showing you a bunch of TV shows about space and about aliens, right? So once I figured out that they're lying about the moon landings and lying about the space station, well, then flying saucers and aliens kind of went out the window. And so, beings, everyone has a phone, and there isn't like more alien footage, like UFO footage that's legit. Seems like there was a bunch of fake UFO footage before we all had phones. It was just nothing but fake UFO footage that we would see on TV. And then once everybody had phones with a high powered camera and we had these P900s and stuff, well, then suddenly we stopped seeing as many fake alien videos or fake UFO videos, I should say. And now, we got AI that's really good. And so anytime you do see any sort of UFO video, you have to just consider that it's fake or AI. John says, "I went on a road trip with my family. We're doomed. They're never going to wake up." Hey, you're preaching to the choir. Uh, my dad is a total moronic sheep. My dad shares anti-gun propaganda. So whenever there's a mass shooting, my dad will share fucking left-winger anti-gun propaganda on his Facebook page. But then he'll say we need to get rid of the donkeys and elephants and we need to govern ourselves. After he shares the left-wing anti-gun propaganda, right? And then my aunt, my cousin, they're total lefties, total libtardos. So you're preaching to the choir. There's no waking up my family. And they think everything I talk about is just all bullshit and crazy talk, right? They think I'm just spouting off crazy bullshit. According to them, I'm tricking all you guys by talking about all this shit. They can't believe that I get paid to do this online. In their heads, I'm just making up shit and getting lucky. Oh, man, this guy still won't go. Well, yeah, see, the thing about sheep is if you even question anything that they think is a given, like the shape of the earth, what this place is, like just questioning what the earth is and what this life really is, to some people, that's enough to make you crazy because you shouldn't even ask that question. So if I say, like, what is this place? Do we live in a simulation? Is this like some computerized realm that we live in? Some of you guys out there would be like, dude, I totally wonder the same thing. Whereas a sheeple would be like, a simulation? That's ridiculous. You're crazy. So even asking a question, like, I wonder if this place really is what they tell us. That's enough for them to deem you crazy because they were taught in school that that's exactly what it was. And they've never met anybody who actually questions these facts that they were taught in school. So anyone that they come across who's questioning what they perceive to be facts, well, that person's deemed as crazy just for questioning these supposed facts. Yeah, I thought it would be fun to make content arguing back and forth with my dad, but he's an unbearable prick and he doesn't want to listen to anything I have to say. All he wants to do is run his mouth. And if I disagree with him, he starts to verbally attack me. And so last time I saw him, it did not go well. It did not end well. And I don't even know if I'm ever going to see him again. So I've basically written my dad off. I don't really want anything to do with him at this point. So I thought that I could make content out of me and my dad butting heads, but he proved to be such a fucking unbearable prick that I just simply don't want to put up with him. I got to the point where trying to have a relationship with my dad just because he's my dad, it's not worth it. Every time I see him, I'm in a bad mood, and that bad mood lingers and carries on for days, even weeks. And it's hard to shake it. And I finally had to have this voice tell me, you don't need him. Your mom's dead. Treat your dad like he's dead. Because the old dad from when I was a young kid, he's gone. And the guy he is now is an unbearable, fucking delusional prick. So I'm sure some of you guys have had to go no contact with your parent. It sucks to have to go no contact with a parent. But if they are a toxic, negative influence in your life, why should you try and put up with them just because they're your family or just because they're your parent? So there comes a point with family where you have to draw a line and go, okay, they're family. But I tried over and over and over, and it just keeps being a negative conclusion. And it doesn't benefit me in any way to keep this person in my life. That's when you have to realize, like, okay, you don't need them. You know? Trick Central said all anyone has to do to immediately confirm the government is lying about everything is look up at the sun on a cloudy day. Easy to see the sun is right up there in the clouds and not 90 million miles away. Exactly. So we're lied to about what the sun is. We're lied to about what the moon is. We're lied to about the very earth that we're all standing on. And they have people so indoctrinated that they will attack you if you try and question any of these things that people think are already proven facts. So they have the sheeple convinced that you're not allowed to question any of this. And if you do, then it's perfectly acceptable to verbally attack somebody if they even question anything that we were taught in school. So yeah, it sucks to live amongst, so many sheeple who refuse to listen to anyone say anything that goes against what they were taught in public school. You know what saying I like slightly better? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him think. That's what I like better. Lead a horse to water, but you can't make him fucking think. You can lead a moron to the fucking truth and slap him in the face with it. But you can't make the moron accept the fucking truth. Danielle Funk says, I was wondering if you had shared a video with your dad in it, but I guess not. I'm sorry to hear he's like that. So I went to visit my dad last month in early August, and I bought my new camera specifically to videotape him and then videotape us butting heads, get myself on camera, telling him the truth, trying to wake him up. He was so unbearable. And whenever I tried to pull out the camera, he wouldn't fucking say anything. He would run his mouth. And then once the camera came out, he would get all quiet and meek. And that's when I realized my dad's never been on camera. He's never made a video. He's never been in a video, right? So he's an old dude who's never put himself on video camera. And so trying to get him to say the ridiculous shit that he was saying to me when the camera's not rolling, he was not being cooperative. So to try and get him to cooperate with me to get the footage was also an issue. And then when the camera wasn't around, he would run his mouth and say the most ridiculous things. So my dad is delusional, and he has dementia, and he's an insufferable prick who doesn't give a fuck about anyone but himself pretty much. He only cares about what he has to say and not what anyone else has to say. And so even when I tried to tell him how to make a video so that he could make a YouTube channel and possibly even make money, he just cuts me off and interrupts me. And he'll say stuff like, well, what you talk about's bullshit. So if you're making money, then I can make twice as much as you make. So I've had my dad tell me to my face that he could make twice as much as I make here on YouTube because the stuff he talks about is real and the stuff I talk about is bullshit. So for someone to say something like that to me, it's hard for me to bite my lip and be like, okay, Dad, just to try and get along. So yeah. Jimmy Max says, amen, Jake. Family change. You have to love them when they get where they're at their best, when you have to give up on them, when they are no longer the same person. Well, here's the thing. It's not just me. He's got 2 other children who don't want to see him or have a relationship with him. So I have an older brother, and we have the same dad, but we have different mothers. And so I have a half brother who's older, and my half brother is married and has 4 kids, happily married, has a beautiful family, doing very well. And my dad said that his wife is a bitch and told a bunch of people that his wife is a bitch. And word got back to him that dad said his wife was a bitch. And so, yeah, his wife, his daughter-in-law basically doesn't like him. And his son doesn't like him. And then his grandkids caught word about what he said. And then you know what? He's the type who will deny it. I never said that. Also, everyone's just mistaken that you called your fucking son's wife a bitch. So he'll talk shit And then when the shit gets him in trouble, he plays the I don't remember saying that card. I don't remember saying that. And then I also have a half sister who doesn't like him either because he showed up and visited her one time and talked a bunch of shit about her to her boyfriend at the time. So my dad will throw a family member under the bus to a fucking stranger. He'll like talk to a stranger and throw a family member under the bus. And then when the family member, finds out what he said, then I don't remember saying that. He's a fucking shit talker. That's what he is. So the fact that all three of his kids don't want nothing to do with him, I know it ain't just me. It's most definitely him. Yeah, and since he's old, he plays the I don't remember card. Well, I'm just old and I just don't remember. Family can be worse than friends. Now, I do have a few family members who are good people. And even though they're sheep and they don't believe in any of the stuff that I talk about, they're still family and they're still in my corner if I needed them. So I do have some genuine family members who would be there for me if I needed help. And I'm a genuine dude. I could help out any of my family members if they needed help. But there comes a point where, like, shit, if a family member's not treating you right, and then on top of that, they're just being an unbearable prick and a negative presence in your life, there comes a point where you just have to say, no more. Why should I put up with that? Misanthropic says, your dad sounds like a mix of both my parents. And anyone who's got boomer parents who watch TV their whole life, it's kind of hard for them to snap out of it or wake up. I mean, my dad took the fucking jab and then believes in climate change, believes like Donald Trump is like the worst guy ever. And that my dad thinks Governor Gavin Newsom is a better option than Trump. Like, that's how stupid my dad is. They grew up watching TV, and my dad like reads the fake news on the newspaper. I think my dad's like the last old guy who reads the newspaper. I don't know a single person who reads the USA Today besides my dad. So I think the only reason the USA Today stays in business is selling newspapers specifically to my dad. But the fact that he like still reads that and thinks that that's legit news, it's like it doesn't matter how much I tell him the news is fake. I'm his crazy son who smokes dope and thinks the earth is flat, whereas that paper is proven facts, according to him. And sometimes it's people's brother or, uh, your best friend. So it might not be your parent, but you might have like a similar situation like what I'm talking about with like one of your good friends who, once you started talking about conspiracies, that's when they stop being your friend, or in this case, his little brother. Miguel says, glad to see you doing picks again, Jake, and love you're only picking the games that stand out to you and don't let people bitching when losing affect you. Those motherfuckers shouldn't even be betting. Well, we have only 1 week so far where I've made picks, and I only made 4 picks, and I won all of them. So right now, everyone's kissing my ass, praising me, telling me how much money they won. So right now, there ain't no haters. And the few haters that did show up didn't bother me because I had an incredible week. So one thing I will say, the pressure on me for week 1, it felt almost non-existent. And the 4 picks I did make, I felt pretty good when I made the picks. Like I felt like I was going to hit like 3 out of the 4, and then to hit 4 out of the 4, and then have everybody like praising me and thanking me, and people even sending me donations and tips and whatnot. Well, ain't much to be upset about right now. So hopefully I can keep the winning ways going the whole season. I know I'm not going to win every single pick, and there's bound to be a few bad weeks. But if I have only a few bad weeks and mostly good weeks, then the haters will be far and few, and they won't get to me. So the pressure seems to be way less since I'm only picking games I feel comfortable, and I'm not being forced to make picks on games that are like coin flips. So the strategy that I've changed up seems to be working so far. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I can just win more games than I lose, keep the sports bettors happy, and sneak through this season without getting shut down or without losing a bunch of games. Thank you, Miguel, for the super chat donation. Soul for Sale said that number 1 play, last tackle just gives up. What? Oh, yeah, the Bijan Robinson play. Yeah, trying to figure out what play to be number 1 can be tricky because, several of the plays are super phony, but in different ways. So usually I try and make my number 1 play one that's undeniable, where like 3 or more players miss tackles and it's blatant that it's a phony play. And so, yeah, the number 1 play, you have a guy breaking 3 tackles, and then the last dude who can make a tackle just gives up, doesn't even try. Yep. Anybody who hasn't watched it yet, when the stream is over, check out my top 10 most scripted plays of the week video. Big Rojo says, hey, Jake, love your stuff. Glad to hear it. Danielle says, thumbs up, guys. Yeah, do what Danielle says. Hook a brother up with a thumbs up. It's quick. It's easy. Emily says there are 2 indie parties, the one started by RFK and another. RFK said he will not run. Not sure who they have in mind. So I think that the next president is going to be a liberal, and it's almost a fucking guarantee. So if you look at the past, they swing it back and forth every 8 years or every 4 years. And so I'm thinking, since we just did 4 years of Trump, or we're going to be doing 4 years of Trump, right? Let's say if he doesn't die, then the next president, in my mind, almost has to be a liberal, and they'll make it out like America is sick and tired of Trump and they're ready to get a new liberal in there. And so if they have somebody like Bernie or the Rock Dwayne Johnson set up and ready to go, I think they could get the libs to rally behind whoever the liberal candidate is, just because they'll be sick of Trump and they'll be rearing for anybody who's not Trump to take over. So I'm thinking the next president most likely will be a liberal.
But one thing I can tell you is I am not anti-vax. There's a lot of misinformation about me, and I can tell you that I am not, I repeat, not anti-vaccine. In fact, all of my kids are vaxxed up, and I'm a proud father of a vaxxed child, and that is because I am actually pro-vaccine, regardless of what you might think or what you may have heard. And I actually do have a fucking turd that's not coming out of my ass, and I'm very constipated right now. There's a shit that just will not exit my ass, and I really wish that it would. Oh,
There you go. Oh, this guy says my RFK needs work. I think I do a fairly decent RFK. Sounds like a man who's constipated, who sounds very uncomfortable.
this is one reason why I'm not going to be running for president, is because it feels like I'm about to have a shit come out of my ass, and I just don't want to be in the White House when this shit finally comes loose out of my ass. Oh.
Yeah, Emily likes it, even though she doesn't hate RFK. Apparently, it's a 10 out of 10. Apparently, it's spot on. So, depending on who you ask, it's a 10 out of 10, it's spot on, or it needs work. One or the other. Jake, I went magnet fishing for the first time yesterday. On my first cast, I caught a steelhead trout. But up, bang!
Let me tell you, I get no respect. I went magna fishing the other day and I caught myself a steelhead trout. Get no respect.
No, I haven't been practicing my Sean Connery. I've had some other things going on. I had to binge watch the NFL highlights and make the top 10. I had no time to work on my Sean Connery impression.
Losers always complain about doing their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen. This is the best Sean Connery that I've got for right now.
Yeah, my impressions may not be perfect. They're meant to be funny. And I've seen quite a few laughing emojis here tonight. So I think I've been doing my job pretty well. Your sub numbers are weird. Yesterday, 400 less. No, here's how it works. When I make picks and I make rigged NFL content, my subscriber count shoots up every day, every hour. Like if I check it in the next hour, it'll be higher than right now. Whereas when the season ends and I just make conspiracy content, then my sub count is frozen for the entire off season, essentially. Sometimes it goes up 10, 20 subs, but then after a stream, they'll steal 10, 20 subs. So for like the entire off season, my sub count looks like saw teeth. Gain 10 subs, lose 10 subs. Gain 5 subs, lose 5 subs, right? And then the day that I put out a pick video, fucking pow! 500 subs in a day. The next day, 500 subs. So 1,000 subs in a 48-hour span. And why? It's because I made a fucking pick video. And I nailed all 4 picks. So because I nailed all 4 picks, word spread, and guys are like, holy fuck, this guy is a good sports picker. And then they sub. So the sports pick guys, if they see you pick good 1 week, they'll sub. and all the people who show up for the rigged NFL content. I'm the only one doing it. So I don't have any competition. So once somebody sees that there's a guy calling out fake football, they sub. But when the season ends, a lot of these football guys don't give a fuck about any of my other content. So the guys who only care about picks, they don't watch these streams, most of them. So they fall off until the next season. So I have an audience that only cares about football, but then they tune out when it ain't football season. And then I also have an audience that cares more about these streams and my conspiracy content, and they aren't so much fans of the football stuff. So I essentially have two different audiences. The audience who cares more about the conspiracy stuff in these live streams, and then I have an audience that cares mostly only about the football and the picks. There is crossover, so there are some guys who watch the football stuff and who watch these streams, and they like it all. But for the most part, people fall into one category or the other. So my channel isn't like other channels. So if my numbers seem weird, it's because I have different audiences watching different forms of content. So for instance, Davey loves it all. This person here says that he loves both types of content. So some of the football guys will show up to the streams, realize that I'm funny as fuck, and then they become full-blown fans of all my stuff. So one of the reasons I like the football subs is because some of them become hardcore fans of the channel, and then they stop caring about football as much, and then they become more of a fan of my channel overall rather than just the football content. So I enjoy the new football subs coming in because some of them turn out to be really solid supporters of the channel. But there's thousands and thousands of the football guys that the day the season ends, they tune out until the next season. So they'll just fucking ditch me for 6 months. And then they'll come back. So yeah, I have people who haven't watched me in 6 months who just showed back up today. So other channels don't have that same sort of thing going on. So every channel's different. And a lot of channels that have a niche and they only cater to one audience, it's not going to be like that. The Karen that yelled at the guy over the baseball, I believe that was staged. It's kind of like those the two cheaters at the Coldplay concert, right? That got caught and then became mainstream news. So if the cheaters at a Coldplay concert become mainstream news to the point where everyone on Facebook is bringing it up, and then I go on Facebook like a few days ago and everyone's talking about some Karen who yelled at a kid over a baseball, that to me, those are staged events to get everybody talking about it, right? Generate clicks, get people to state their opinion. And then it ties back to like, oh, where did it happen? At a baseball game, right? It's just another way to promote that there's baseball going on and stuff happening in the games, in the stands that you should care about. She seemed like a total Karen, but the dad's reaction was like a bit over the top. And then the fact that it was all over Facebook, everyone had an opinion on it, even people who don't watch baseball talking about it. That's where it gets fishy to me. Like, oh, it's that viral? A Karen? So the subject of Karen, just calling someone a Karen and having a Karen do a Karen-like thing can make any video go viral. To the point where you have fake Karen videos. So there's YouTubers and TikTokers who realized if they put Karen has a freak out, Karen has a meltdown, they can get millions of views with a clickbait title. So all you have to do is convince your mom or your aunt or any woman to pretend to be a Karen. And if they can do a good enough job, you can get a viral video. So if I can convince somebody I know to flip the fuck out on purpose, and then I'm going to say, oh, Karen freaks out because I parked in a parking spot. And then all I have to do is have a lady be like,
Excuse me, sir! You're not allowed to park here! Sir! You can't park here! I'm a Karen! Ah!
all I have to do is have a lady pretend to be a Karen, and then me have a clickbait title. Karen screams at me for parking in a parking pen. And then I have a chance to go viral just based on the fact that people are intrigued by watching triggered Karens. I swear to God, there's fake Karen videos where the Karens flip out, and I'm like, dude, this is such clickbait. And then you look at the comments, everybody believes it. So yeah, you can start a whole goddamn YouTube channel with just fake Karen content. Yeah, we watched the Ukrainian woman at the beginning of the stream. I think that since it's a mainstream story, if all I have to do is type the word train and it goes and it pops up as the first story, that leads me to believe it's a staged event. It looked a little bit like it was AI, and we know that AI is getting really, really good to where it's almost getting impossible to tell the difference, and one day it will be basically impossible. So they could be trying out advanced AI on the public. Graphic stabbing. Here you go. Here's the graphic stabbing just for you. And then, of course, they cut out the graphic stabbing part. Yeah, there's so much AI on the platform now. You know, YouTube's being taken over by AI slop. I'm hearing from channels that have millions of subs that their views are down by like 50%. So I was noticing last month that like my views were down a bit, not a lot, but down a bit. And then I was looking around at other channels to see if it was like a summer slump or what was going on. And so they changed the algorithm back in August to where AI recommends your videos to different people based on who they think will watch it the longest. And so what's happening is content creators who have millions of subs are seeing some of the lowest numbers they've ever had. So there's channels out there, like for instance, Davey504, the Italian slap bass guy, 13 million subs. And he had a video the other day that barely got to 100,000 views. And then he just put out a new video and it only got like 60,000 views. If you have 13 million subs and you only get 100,000 views, that's terrible. Right? So I think it sucks if I only get 5,000 views and I have, 86,000 subs, let's say. Well, it's even worse if you have 13 million subs and you only get 100K and you're used to getting a million every time. If you're used to getting a million every time or more, and then all of a sudden you get 100K, that's a gigantic drop in views and revenue. So I'm seeing huge channels that you would think YouTube would be promoting and hooking up, just like they always have. And it's almost like YouTube is getting rid of some of these big channels, kicking them to the curb with this new algorithm. So you might see some really big channels within the next year disappear and quit. So watch, I'll even show you what I'm talking about with Davey. Because Davey's been around on YouTube and got so many fucking views. To see his last two videos tank worse than I've ever seen, something's up, because Davey hasn't done anything to piss off his fans. So the only thing that would make his numbers drop this drastically would be a new algorithm. So check it out. 13 million subs. And his last video only got 63,000. That's the lowest I've ever seen. And if we go to his most popular, 37 million views, 22 million views, 22 million views, 21 million views. Now, granted, these were years ago, but he used to get tens of millions of views. He would get over 1 million views on like every single video. And then he said over this last year, since they changed the algorithm, that now he's discouraged because he can't get anywhere near as big of views anymore. Let's check it out. 890,000, 300,000, 96,000, 63. So his views are trending downwards drastically. So my guess is a channel with 13 million subs, you upload a video that gets 63,000, that probably feels like your career with YouTube's over. So he might be feeling really depressed and really shitty seeing this. Whereas if I was to get 63,000 views, I'd be like, fuck yeah, 63,000, right? But for a channel with 13 fucking million, who's had videos in the past do tens of millions, you better believe 63,000 sucks donkey dick. And that he's a comedy YouTuber who's never done anything to upset his audience. He hasn't, like, you know, done some humiliation ritual or whatever, right? So it's YouTube that changed the algorithm. And so if guys like him are seeing not just a 50% drop, but even like a 75% drop, it's the fucking platform. It's not the creator. So essentially what YouTube has done, they're taking an algorithm and promoting videos to people who they think will watch the longest, and they're cutting subscribers out of the whole process. So if you don't get notifications for my videos, it's because they don't care about your subscribers anymore. They don't want a content creator to be able to rely on their subscribers. So instead, you have to try and create content that you think people out there will watch, and not necessarily the ones who are subscribed to you, right? So now I'm like, okay, well, my subs don't really matter. I just have to make content that hopefully the algorithm shows people. So what does that mean? And I know you guys, a lot of you are just, you know, you're just watchers, you're just viewers. So it's not your problem if content creators lose their fucking paychecks and leave this platform. I know it's not your problem, but if you start seeing really big content creators quit, it's because this new algorithm is decimating some channels. So lucky for me, my numbers are trending up because the NFL season just started, but I was noticing a dip in my numbers over the summer. So it looks like it's happening to big channels, medium channels, and small channels. And the only channels that don't seem to be getting affected are the ones who react to TikToks. The channels who react to TikToks, they're getting hundreds of thousands of views on every video. So Jack Morgan now gets more views than Davey504. How the fuck does that work? Davey504 with 13 million subs gonna get less views than Jack fucking Morgan reacting to TikToks? Yeah. What does that tell you? It ain't the audience. It ain't the subscribers. It's this platform. If they stop showing a content creator on the screen, on the impressions, if they stop recommending you to people, people will just forget about that content creator. They'll just forget. Imagine you work your whole life to get, or, you know, last 15 years to get all these subs, and then YouTube algorithm changes, and then it's like, now you're like back at square one, wondering what the fuck to do. Yeah, the algorithm seems to favor uploading some sort of crap content every day. They're favoring quantity over quality. So I noticed the channels that sit in their car and react to TikToks every single day are doing better than the channels who like spend a lot of time editing and actually creating content, that's bad. Creating content is what the platform is supposed to be about. Reacting to content that's already been created, you don't want to have more reactors than creators. If there's more people reacting than creating, that's a bad business model. So the more Jack Morgans there are and Zach Rioses that there are reacting, the worse the platform is going to get. Dude, Jack Morgan's takes are so fucking bland, and he's allowed to talk about like anything, and he always gets views, whereas I get punished if I switch my niche. Like if I make a video tomorrow that's not about rigged football, my views are going to be significantly less than my last few videos. Whereas Jack Morgan can say, "Oh, the car market is shitty," and he'll get 100,000. And then the next day he can be like, "Women don't want to date men anymore, and men don't want to date women anymore," and he'll get 100,000. And then the next day he can be like, "Oh, the housing market is fucked." He'll get 100,000. So he'll get like 100,000 on whatever he talks about, as long as he's reacting to somebody. Maria, wow, tiger hat, metaphorically speaking. We sound good. Sha, I was telling my girlfriend the other day, this shit's crazy. Like, I remember back when I was making 60 grand a year. I thought I was like hood rich Ricky. Now I make 100 grand a year, and it feels like it's not enough. He says that in every video and gets 100,000. But whatever, I'm just a hater if I mention that Jack Morgan is a fucking bit of a hack, right? That doesn't deserve to get that many views every fucking time. Like, why can't he have a video that fails? Shouldn't he have a video once in a while that only gets 10,000? Why not? I have videos that tank. Davey just had a video that tanked. Why the fuck doesn't Jack have any videos that tank? All of them are great. You know who's worse than Jack is Zach Rios. Hi, I'm Zach Rios. I have no personality, and I'm going to get 200,000 views or more on every video. People out there are getting scammed. I'm going to show you some popular scams, and I'm going to react because I'm Zach Rios, right? Oh, 200,000 views for you, sir. So yeah, YouTube is promoting these reaction guys who are boring as fuck, in my opinion. And if you watch one, they will cram those videos up your asshole every day. Oh, you watched a Zach Rios video and a Jack Morgan video in the same day? Well, from now on, we're going to cram those two dudes into your asshole every day. Your asshole will not be able to contain these two fellas and all of their content. Oh yeah, and both those two dudes both have 2 channels that they upload daily. Yeah, I have 2 channels. I talk about different content on my 2 channels. No, you don't. It's the same fucking shit. Same channels, same shit, same content. Just slightly different subjects each day. And you know what? It didn't used to be like that. Jack Morgan's and Zach Rios's didn't run this platform a few years ago, right? I know Penguin Zero has been getting tons of views, being an untalented, fucking unfunny hack for a long time. But you didn't used to see Zach Rios and Jack Morgan on your fucking screen getting tons of views, right? You didn't see anyone getting those type of views making that sort of content. And so to me, you shouldn't be rewarded on a daily basis for just reacting to TikToks. So the fact that there's so many people who want to watch someone react to TikToks every day, that means the audience is getting more fucking retarded and that their attention span is going down. And YouTube is promoting that. YouTube is actively helping that process of degrading people's attention span and promoting these boring reaction channels, which hurt their platform. So YouTube doesn't realize like they're hurting their own platform by fucking promoting these reactor channels. You need to have channels who create content first and foremost. Those are the ones who deserve the views. And then anyone who can't think of what to fucking make, where they have to just react to a bunch of other people, yeah, those people should get punished and get buried. But no, it's the other way around. Oh, you're going to sit in your car and react to people who are poor on TikTok? Let's dump views and money into your lap. Oh, you're going to make a video that questions what this place is and has a positive message? Yeah, we're going to go ahead and bury that content. Yeah, brain rot and AI shit taking over the platform. But it's all by design. You know, YouTube, we kicked television's ass. So now you got a bunch of failed television actors, right? Former movie stars coming over here trying to be YouTubers now, right? Like earlier, I was doing a Roseanne impression.
Hey everyone, remember when Roseanne had a show called Roseanne and there were 20 million people watching her on TV? But now she runs a stream on YouTube and she only gets a couple thousand people to watch. Yeah, she can only get maybe 20,000 people to watch one of her streams or her videos, but she used to get 20 million people to watch on TV.
Yeah, so YouTube whooped television's ass to the point where a bunch of those fucking untalented, unfunny hacks from TV and Hollywood came over here to YouTube to try to get a piece of the YouTube pie. I think it's hilarious when you see a former movie star over here on YouTube trying to run a fucking podcast and they're only getting 10,000 views. Don't be a hater, Jake. Oh, I'm supposed to love the fact that everyone's sitting in their car and reacting to fucking TikToks? Nah, fuck that. If that's how I feel, that's how I feel. I'm not being a hater. I'm telling it how it is. And you know what? I'll bet you the majority of people here agree. Calling me a hater for telling the fucking truth. The platform used to be better. That's a fact. This platform used to be better and did not used to be overrun by fucking losers crying in their car about not being able to find a job and Jack Morgan's reacting to the losers in their car. Yeah, it didn't used to be that. 5 years ago, nobody was crying in their car for clicks and there were no Jack Morgans. But now, oh yeah, Jack Morgan is getting more views than a dude with 13 million subs. For sure. But I'm a hater if I point that out. No, I cannot restart. You can go back and rewatch the replay, but I ain't going to restart. In fact, I'm going to wrap it up here soon. Oh, shit. It looks like I missed several super chats. My bad, you guys. Any of you guys who sent a super chat waiting around for me to read it, my bad. I got rambling and totally didn't notice that if like 3-4 dudes sent super chats. My bad. Let me go back and read these. Got one from Doxological Thinker and Joey G1. Joey G1 sent his just before Doxological Thinker. So here we go. Joey GG1. Hopefully you're still watching. Says, right on, I agree. Crisis actor vibes with the overacting closeted dad clutching his pearls. The train story bogus too. Anything that goes super viral is fucking scripted in my world, right? anything that they don't want to go super viral, they can make sure that it doesn't. Like if they don't want something talked about, like me and my channel, they'll just make sure that I don't go super viral no matter what I say. Whereas if they do want everyone talking about some ridiculous thing, no matter how insignificant it might seem, if they want everyone talking about cheaters at a Coldplay concert or the Karen at the Phillies game, their system will make sure everybody on Facebook and everybody on Instagram and everybody on YouTube and everybody on TikTok is mentioning it. The majority of everybody, right? And if that's the case, ain't no way that that attention is organic. Thank you, Joey EEGG. I totally agree with you, bro. Staged as funk. Doxological Thinker says, from the consumer side, I've noticed I only get recommended videos from channels I've watched within the last 24 to 48 hours. So I had to go through and unsubscribe to any wrestling related content because I got into watching channels that talk shit about the WWE. Like there were some channels who were like, the WWE is worse than it's ever been. So I used to like the WWE when I was a teenager, and I'm a fan of the Attitude Era back, before The Rock went to Hollywood and Vince McMahon was feuding with Stone Cold. I really liked that late 90s, early 2000s Attitude Era of wrestling. And so compared to today, wrestling sucks donkey dicks. So I watched some channels that just talk shit about wrestling. And then suddenly my entire feed became fucking wrestling. It was like, that's all YouTube wanted me to watch. Because I watched a few dudes, only a few dudes talk shit. Then they're like, oh, subscribe to Vince Russo, subscribe to Stevie Richards, subscribe to Maven, subscribe to all these fucking former wrestlers. And they just constantly just started shoving wrestling to the point where I was like, okay, 90% of my fucking feed is wrestling shit now. So I had to go through and unsub from the wrestling shit. And every time I saw a wrestling video, I would hit not interested. Finally, after a few days of doing that, they finally stopped showing the wrestling shit. And now they're starting to stick other stuff in my feed. But I noticed that if you go to your homepage, they'll recommend you a bunch of shit you're not even subscribed to. So if you want to see the shit that you're subscribed to, you have to click on the subscriptions tab. So I noticed that YouTube doesn't care who you're subscribed to so much. If you go to your homepage and just scroll, they'll just recommend you all sorts of shit. And they'll even recommend these small channels that don't have hardly any subs. So sometimes they'll recommend a channel who's live streaming, and it'll be like some Asian lady who's streaming for 5 people. I'm like, why? Why? Why would you show me that? So yeah, there's some weird shit. Like they're recommending me these tiny channels that I would never, ever watch. Why would you do that? And then, yeah, it seems like certain shit they really want me to watch, right? Like, let's get Jake to waste his time watching a bunch of wrestling shit. So we're just going to only recommend that he watch wrestling shit. I got another super chat. I think he wants a Trump impression. Izzy Tech says, we hear you. Trump turning up The View and Money Knob. So do you want me to do an impression of Trump going on The View and the Money Knob, right? Like the price of the food knob. I think that's what you're talking about. I think that's what you want me to do. I'm guessing. Thank you very much for having me on The View. Some people might think that this is a show that I don't belong on, but quite frankly, anytime there is a camera, I'm willing to put my face on camera and tell you the truth. I am the greatest president that there ever was, And quite frankly, whether you agree or not doesn't matter because this is a great country and they deserve the best president. Nobody does presidenting like I do presidenting. And that's why, ever since I've been president, the price of everything has been coming down. The reason why everything is so expensive or appears to be so expensive is because Creepy Joe, he turned up the price of the food. There was a food price knob, Creepy Joe, while he was in office. He did a lot of terrible things. They stole the election. Creepy Joe went in there. He turned up the price of the food, turned up the food knob price. All right, that's what caused inflation. I didn't cause inflation. There's a lot of people think tariffs caused the inflation. It was Creepy Joe. He turned up the food price knob, the egg price knob especially. Now, the first thing I did when I became your president, I went right into the Oval Office. I grabbed Creepy Joe by his scruffy little neck. I looked him right in his beady little eyes, and I said, "Get the hell out of here, Joe. You're fired." And then I went in and I turned down the egg price knob. If you'll notice, eggs were like $10 for a dozen eggs. It's really ridiculous. I don't know how anybody could afford it. So what I did is I turned the price of the egg knobs down, and that's why you're seeing prices half the price now. You're seeing eggs for $4 and $5 for a dozen. Used to be $10. So clearly, we're doing things to fix this country. The economy's looking better than ever. Things are turning around. We got China bent over right now because of these tariffs. I am turning down the price of everything as we speak. That's why you're seeing all of the prices of your consumer goods get cheaper by the day. And it's because I bent China over with these tariffs. I'm putting my tariff right inside the Chinese ass, if you know what I'm saying. Oh, we got a guy who doesn't think the players are in on it, guys. I find it hard to believe that all the players are in on it. Why? Every fucking time I show you a clip where all the players are playing phony football, how come there's no guys trying their hardest? It seems like they're all playing phony football. If I show you a phony play, we see five offensive linemen and four defensive linemen, and then a couple of guys rushing who are linebackers, let's say, run right into each other. And it's like they purposely run right into each other. And the defensive guys, if they're told not to get to the quarterback, they'll just run right into an offensive lineman and just be pancaked for the entire play. Quarterback has all the time in the pocket. Go watch a fucking high school game and tell me how long guys have in the pocket. In a high school game, the pass rush is actually trying to get to the quarterback. You see quarterbacks running for their life on every fucking play in high school. Even good teams can't fucking have their quarterback just be like, "I'm going to go through my progressions." But in the NFL, quarterbacks will dance around in the pocket and have all fucking day. And then they'll look right at the defender, throw an interception right into triple coverage. Meanwhile, there's guys like you who are like, "I don't think all the players are in on it." Okay, bro, tell me which player is playing real. And here's the thing. Any players that you think are not in on it, that means they have no idea that all their teammates are playing fake football. So if you think some guys are playing fake football and some guys are playing real football, tell me which ones are playing real football. Then explain why they don't call their teammates out for playing fake football. Uh-oh. I just destroyed your stupid fucking logic, didn't I? Think I just fucking destroyed you, dude. Name the players who aren't in on it. Then explain why they don't call out the players who are in on it. If I can see players playing pretend football, how come these players who aren't in on it don't see it and call it out? That's because they're all playing fake football. So according to your logic, your dumb fuck logic, some of the guys in the WWE aren't in on it. I don't think all the guys in the WWE are in on it. Some of them are fighting for real. Right? Do you think some of the guys in the WWE are fighting for real? Yeah, that would be retarded. But you do think that the NFL players are playing real football and don't notice their teammates playing fake football. Right. So there's a guy out there playing for real who doesn't notice that the kicks keep bouncing off the fucking uprights. Yeah, okay. I noticed that there's 40 doinks in a season, and there used to be maybe one. You're telling me that there's players who don't notice, don't say anything about it, who aren't in on it? I think I just destroyed your fucktard logic. And if I really want to put a nail in your fucktard logic, all I got to do is bring up Dwight Smith, who's a Super Bowl champion, who says that the outcomes are not decided on the field and that it's just entertainment. So if a Super Bowl champion is coming out and saying that the games are not decided on the field, what does that tell you? That means the players are all in on it. It's not just the refs. If you see 4 or 5 dudes in a row all dive at someone's feet and miss a tackle, how the fuck did the ref do anything there? The ref didn't dive at Bijan Robinson's feet and whiff. So if you see 4 dudes dive at Bijan Robinson's feet and whiff, you have to believe they tried their hardest and just couldn't make a tackle. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there telling you, look, these motherfuckers are not making tackles on purpose. So what makes more sense? 4 guys are diving at a dude's feet and missing while trying their hardest? Or 4 dudes are playing fake phony football, like all the rest of them? I don't put up with fucktards trying to say all the players aren't in on it. In fact, it pisses me off. It offends me. This is my 4th season proving all the players are in on it. I uploaded a video today proving all the players are in on it. If you come here and tell me you don't think all the players are in on it, you're basically telling me I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. You are wrong. Every NFL game is fake as fuck. I watched the highlights of all the games. I can point out fake plays in every game, some more than others. There's no such thing as a legit football game that you can bet money. All right. If the college game has a spread, then it's rigged. Go back 2 seasons and watch the end of Miami and Georgia Tech. Miami has the game won, and all they have to do is kneel on the ball. And they decide to run a play, they fumble, and then they give up the game-winning touchdown. So you have to convince yourself that the coach and all the players are so fucking retarded that they don't know how to kneel down on the ball and win a game guaranteed. They're too stupid to know how to kneel down. Because that was the coach's excuse. He just made a mental error and decided to have the players run the ball. And not only did they fumble, they gave up a game-losing Hail Mary. Go back and watch Miami, Georgia Tech 2 seasons back. And if you can watch that ending and come back here and tell me that that was legit, then we'll both know who a fucktard is. So if you got a team like Miami who won't kneel the ball and instead inexplicably fucking loses when they have the game guaranteed won, what more do I got to tell you? But there's people out there who will be like, no, those college kids would never do that. Oh, yeah, it's impossible to pay a college kid to play fake football. No way some fucking college kid would take a payday to play some pretend football. It's not like they're not trying to be fake football players on Sunday, right? So it seems to me if you're in college and you're on one of them big time teams in college where people are betting on those games, yeah, you're practicing to become a phony football player in the NFL, the next National Fixed League. So the college games are practice for the fixed phony professional league. I know it's hard for you to understand that kids on a college football team who get to be on national TV and get to travel around the country and eat catered meals and get paid money and get a bunch of attention and whatnot. I know you think that one of those kids would come out and tell the secret. No. They'll lose their spot on the team. They'll lose all that glory. None of the TV stations are going to put some college kid on TV and have him spill the beans. So here's the thing. Anyone who's going to tell the secret, there's no one to tell it to. The fans won't believe you. What are you going to go on YouTube and tell everyone? So if the Super Bowl champ Dwight Smith tells you that the games aren't decided on the field and nobody fucking really knows who he is or ever brings him up besides me, yeah, people aren't out there looking for the truth. And the truth isn't being shown to people. They're not going to show you Dwight Smith admitting that the games aren't decided on the field. Why would they tell you that? Why would anybody reveal that information? So blowing the whistle, telling secrets, there's no money in doing that. And no mainstream media outlet is going to televise anyone blowing the whistle or telling secrets, especially not any mainstream media channel that shows college football or pro football. So if anything, anybody who comes out saying that the games are rigged, they're just going to get buried. And they have former players who come out and admit that it's rigged, but they lie and they say stupid shit that's not true. Like Larry Johnson or somebody said like he got a script and it told him that he was going to get injured, and everybody goes off this script that they're giving at the beginning of the season. That's a fucking lie. So they have players give these false reveals about how the NFL's scripted, but they lie and they don't tell you the truth about how it's really scripted. The only guy that told the truth is Dwight Smith. And that's why that's the only player admission that I care about. The only player admission I bring up, the gold standard in player admissions, Dwight Smith. In fact, I can even put the clip on right now in case anyone hasn't ever seen it. In fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do. If I go to my channel, and I just type in Dwight Smith, check it out. If anyone hasn't seen this yet, this is a must watch.
Whenever I released a Stuker 100, I was the league for being rigged. Take a listen to former Super Bowl champion Dwight Smith as he spills the beans right here on just exactly how rigged the NFL really is.
Super Bowl 37 champion Dwight Smith, who was a part of that team, 2 pick sixes. We all know what he did against the Raiders, but he joins us here in the Ronnie T. Crash Show as we count down to Super Bowl Sunday. Well, I mean, this is something that no one's ever seen before. I mean, you're hosting the Super Bowl. The Bucs are in it. It's Brady versus Mahomes. I mean,
that was something I predicted at the beginning of the year. I said if the NFL wanted to have the home team in the Super Bowl, this would be the perfect year. Pandemic, people can't travel, so it's not a shock to me.
How big of an advantage do you think it will be for the Buccaneers not having to travel anywhere? Because obviously, when you were in the Super Bowl.
That's not no advantage. I don't have no advantage.
No advantage? Okay.
No.
All right, so.
No advantage. Gee, I wonder why there wouldn't be a home field advantage.
That's like saying they have advantage at every home game during the year. So, I mean, it ain't like they won every home game. Y'all know all the X's and O's, man. I'm just sitting at home watching. I don't like to get into that because I don't believe the game is really decided on the field. So, I don't get into all the X's and O's.
He doesn't like to get into the X's and O's because he doesn't think that the games are decided on the field. He had 2 pick sixes in a Super Bowl win. So this isn't some schmuck from the practice squad. This is the guy that won the Super Bowl and had 2 pick sixes. And he says he doesn't believe the games are decided on the field. I'm inclined to believe him over any fanboy who thinks that it's just the refs rigging games.
Talking, man. Like I said, I played in the game. I set a Super Bowl record, and we knew every play they was running before the game started.
Knew every play they were going to run before the game started. So yeah, the whole it's just the refs shit. Nope, it ain't just the refs.
So, hey, who am I to say?
Well, tell us about that week leading up to the Super Bowl, because that was the big thing. Bill Callahan was the Raiders coach at the time. Obviously, John Gruden had just come over. Tell us about that week of preparation leading up to the game and how it was executed by you guys. I mean, you could know which plays are coming. And
Tim Brown and Jerry Rice come out and say that they made them run John Gruden's offense.
Yes. Yep. It was his offense, and you guys knew exactly what was coming. Did you know every single play?
They didn't run that offense all year, though. Ain't it odd that you would run it when you're playing against us?
So did you guys know every play before the ball was snapped?
I'm just saying, man, the game ain't decided on the field. That's all.
Did you hear him laugh right there?
Ball was snapped?
I'm just saying, man, the game ain't decided on the field. That's all.
That's the best player admission that there is. And you know what? The NFL never brings this guy up. Mainstream media never brings him up. No one ever talks about Dwight Smith and what he said. And he was very point blank about it. And you know what happened after he said that? Those radio guys go, all right, Dwight, thanks for hanging out. Bye. Click. And they got rid of him. They got rid of him real fucking quick once he said that. That's the last time I've heard from Dwight Smith. I haven't heard him say anything ever since then. But you know what? That's the only admission I need. I don't care if there's never another single player who ever fucking says anything. That's the only one that counts to me. Because he point blank said these games aren't decided out on the field. I don't get into the X's and O's. We won the Super Bowl. I had 2 pick sixes. The game ain't decided on the field. Yeah, I'm going to listen to that dude. That's the only guy that told the accurate story that the game isn't decided on the field. He didn't say we played a pretend phony fake football game, but in so many words, he did say that. So there you go. That is the gold standard in player admissions. And like I said, it's not like, these mainstream media channels are going to fucking show that and put the truth out there. If anything, they're never going to mention that dude's name ever again. So, sorry if I was a bit of a dick to you, but here's my thing. This is my 4th year making videos that don't include the refs, which show the players playing fake football. So this is my 4th year, and every week I do a top 10, which means I watch every highlight and I pick out the 10 most phony plays. And I specifically don't include calls by the refs. I rarely ever include a call by the ref because fanboys blame the refs and give the players a pass. Fanboys will say the refs rigged it for the Chiefs. So anytime the word rigged or scripted comes up, they fucking blame the refs and they give the players a total pass. I don't do that. It's the opposite with me. The refs are phony and they throw phony flags, but the whole fucking game's phony. And so the whole point of my content when I show that the NFL is rigged is to show that the players are all in on it beyond a shadow of a doubt. So one of the reasons why I was a bit of a dick to you is because when somebody comes along and says, I think it's just the refs, or I don't think all the players are in on it, what they're saying is, Jake, you're wrong about what you've been saying for years and what you've been showing. And here's the thing. I'm not fucking wrong. I know I'm not wrong. I've been proving for 4 years that all the motherfuckers are in on it. Here's another reason why everyone has to be in on it. Imagine if an outside force who has money, the mafia, let's say, imagine if the mafia was to have a quarterback blow games. Well, what's to stop the NFL, from scripting their own product? Well, you can't have someone else having players do something different than what their script says. So if you have a quarterback who you want to win a game, you can't have anyone else pay him to lose. So if you tell a quarterback, here's the script, you're going to be losing this game, there can't be some other motherfucker out there, some mafia boss, paying him to lose, and then have the quarterback be like, oh, which am I going to do? Am I going to win or lose? No. So they have to have all the players under their thumb. So nobody else can tell the players what to do, right? There's nobody who can come along and be like, okay, we're going to give you an extra $5 million if you lose this game or whatever, right? Because the NFL has their own script. So it would be like trying to get a WWE wrestler to do something different than what they're scripted to do. So if a wrestler is scripted to lose a match, you can't come along and pay him to fucking win that match and then have him fucking go against the script, right? So the NFL can keep any outside money, any outside influence from affecting their game by having all the players under their thumb. See, the players are playing pretend football according to the NFL script. So that way, if anybody came along and said, hey, I'll pay you $10 million to lose this playoff game, well, that won't work because the NFL's already got them scripted, already got a plan for them. So nobody can come along and change what the NFL has scripted. And the NFL is in cahoots with the Vegas sports books. So between the Vegas sports books and the NFL, they come up with what they're going to do. And then they relay that to the players, and they have the players on the field execute what they need to have happen to make the most money possible and get the result that they want. So there's no mob boss who can come along and fucking get one of the players to do something out of what the script calls for. Whereas if all the players weren't in on it, let's say there were guys playing real football and the NFL didn't have everyone under their thumb, then theoretically you could pay a player to take a dive. Quarterbacks throw interceptions on purpose every week. In fact, there was 3 or 4 interceptions that almost made the list. Tua Tagovailoa threw 2 interceptions on purpose. One he chucked over the top of his guy's head, right to a defender. And then the other one, he had no pressure, and he threw it right into double coverage, right to the Colts. So Tua threw 2 balls right to the Colts. Brock Purdy threw 2 balls right to the Seahawks. But then they had the 49ers win the game. So they can even have a quarterback throw interceptions and look like shit. And then in the fourth quarter, the quarterback magically looks like fucking Tom Brady in his prime. Bing, 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 and then wins. So they had Brock Purdy looking like shit, throwing it to the Seahawks. But then in the fourth quarter, suddenly he remembered how to be Brock Purdy and throw a good pass. They're the masters of manipulating sports bettors. So if they can keep you thinking that any part of this is real, then they can get you to bet your money and make the wrong decision. So yes, the NFL and the sports books are the mob boss. So nobody else can come in and manipulate the game. There's nobody who can pull one of the players aside and say, hey, we want you to miss all your field goal kicks. The NFL is like, oh, well, we control the field goal kicks with our technology. So nobody can make our kickers miss, right? And if a kicker was to just like fuck up on a kick and accidentally kick it to the left, they've got technology to course correct the ball and turn it back right and stick it through the uprights. So the reason why they have technology in the ball is to ensure that a kick misses when they want it to miss, or ensure that they make that kick. So if there's $10 million riding on this final kick, you need to make sure it goes in. So if the kicker accidentally fucking kicks it that way, You got to have that technology in place to whoop, stick it right back through the uprights. And you got to make sure you have the kicker under your thumb to where he's just going to look at the kick and go, whoops, whatever. And not mention, hey, what the fuck's going on with my kick? So the fact that no kickers have ever mentioned that their kicks are fucking doing all these weird turns that defy the laws of physics shows you all the kickers know that their kicks are being manipulated. And they just go along with it. The kicker is there to put the ball in the air. And then once the ball is in the air, somebody with a fucking remote control drives the ball through the uprights or makes it miss or makes it bounce off the pole. Replacement Skylight says, and there's magnets in the poles. Well, I tried to tell you so. Yes, I did, but I guess you didn't know. They be messing with field goals, and there's magnets in the poles. You lied to me. All those field goals I thought were so real. You lied to me. Oh, yes, you did. Yes, you did. You lied to me. All those field goals I thought were so real. You lied to me. Now I cry, cry. Return of the doink. It is return of the doink. Return of the doink. And another ball hits the pole. Speaking of, there were 3 doinks week 1. So there's people out there who are like, you're crazy. You think there's magnets in the ball? You're stupid. There used to be 1, maybe 2 doinks in an entire season. Week 1, 3 doinks. Last year, there was like 40. So anyone who tells me I'm wrong about the kicks being manipulated, I ask them to explain why there's so many doinks. And usually they're too stupid. They don't even realize that back in the day, there only used to be maybe 1 in a whole season. So a lot of dumb fuck fanboys think that there always was all these doinks happening. But no, when I was a kid, you saw maybe 1 in a season. So 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, you maybe saw 1 doink. Maybe. Now, every fucking week, multiple times. And it ain't just because they moved back the extra point. It's because there's technology in the motherfucking ball. Replacement Skylight says, do a deep dive video on how the doinks have gone up in the past 20 years. Like just do a video specifically on the doinks. Yeah, I could probably do that. See, I did a video at the beginning of last season about the kicking technology and the magnetic gloves. But it was at the beginning of last season. So perhaps like midway through this season, making a doink only video and just showcasing how there's like 10,000% more doinks than there used to be. Everyone here, please remind Jake about Demon Slayer. He forgot about it. Oh, yeah. I do got to give a shout out to Demon Slayer channel. So there's a channel who exposes a cyberbully. So first off, there's a cyberbully who calls himself Sanity Machine. And he also calls himself El Diablo Radio. And he cyberbullies anyone and everyone that he can online. He'll stream for 12 hours a day and just make fun of the way people look. Meanwhile, he himself is overweight and pale and has dark eye circles, looks very unhealthy. So there's a channel out there who exposes this cyberbully, calls himself the Demon Slayer. So let me go ahead and give him a shout out, pull up one of his videos. All right. So basically, if anyone knows about Zach Hubbard, there's a channel that exposes Zach Hubbard. So anytime there's a scammer that burns their audience over and over, anytime there's somebody who bullies their audience over and over, eventually what happens is an anonymous individual will step up and start exposing that person. So for instance, there's a channel called Sports Gematria who does nothing but expose Zach Hubbard. And then there's a few channels who do nothing but expose Owen Benjamin because he's a scammer. So in this case, you have a channel named Sanity Machine, who's a cyber bully. And so this guy calls himself the Demon Slayer. He made a channel specifically to expose this cyber bully, and he does a good job. So I'm going to give him a shout out. Now, this cyber bully calls himself King Steven, calls himself Sanity Machine. He is a demonic mason, and he tries to verbally attack people and talk bad about them. And he's even caused a few people to become suicidal by constantly cyberbullying them. So I'll show you what he looks like.
This is what I look like. Ching chong, ching chong.
Here he is right here. He calls himself King Steven, and here he is hanging out with shillbag, compromised criminal Archaics. Hey, brother, I want you to come on my channel because shills of a feather flock together. So if you've got a problem with me, you can come on here on my channel, and we're just going to be a couple of shills promoting each other. Now, I know some people out there don't know that I'm a shill, but I am a total compromised criminal. I did a lot of bad stuff that sent me to prison, and then they made me a deal to be a CIA informant. So that's what I'm doing here, brother. I'm being an agent. I'm double-crossing and duping a whole lot of people. So here you got shills of a feather flocking together. This is Steven right here.
Ching chong. Hi, ya. This is me, kind of gross and vulgar and crass and degenerate. This is me this summer. This is me within the last couple of months. This is what I look like compared to what demons look like. That is how I look. And that's before I got a haircut. So my hair was growing very long. And my girlfriend liked it like that. She for some reason, I don't know why.
You ready? Lights, camera, rolling.
Let me show you the energy there. I'll show you one more.
So this is what Steven looks like. And what he does is he shows pictures of anyone on the internet that he can find. Anyone he wants to start drama with that he feels like he can get attention from, he'll just pull up their picture and he'll say, look at their eyes. This person is a demon. Look at their dark eye circles. They're a demon. This person has demonic energy. So he calls everyone a demon, but then he refers to himself as the only one who's a free spirit. He also claims that this is a hell realm and that he has a superpower to where he can seal all of us demons. You guys are demons and I'm a demon, and he's going to seal all of us demons in here. And he claims that he is the only one who's not a demon. And guess what? There's like 2 or 3 people who follow him and believe that. And they're like, thank you, King Steven, for showing us these demons. So he'll bring up a video of me and be like,
Jake's a loser. He's a demon. He's a shill.
And then this is him. This is what he looks like.
And this was this summer as well, sometime between, I think it might have been in June or July. I took another selfie somewhere, hiking somewhere else. So that's me. And that's the color of my eyes. And that's what I look like. That's what my eyes look like. That's what my lips look like. That's what my face looks like. But anyway, I wanted to show you that for the energy. Now take a look at his energy. I'll put up Dick on the screen so that you can see his face a little bit better. This is him. This is Dick. Look at his eyes. Look at the eyes on that creature, and look at the look. Like you would think that he's angry or ready to eat someone's face off. That's a demon.
So here's what's so clever about this video. He was talking about someone else, but this channel Demon Slayer stuck his own image along with his own words and then doctored that last photo and added the pink lips a little bit. So now he's essentially making fun of himself. So this Demon Slayer channel, he's anonymously exposing this guy and making him look like a fool by having him essentially insult himself. So he'll find a picture of a guy, you know, like me, and he'll be like, look at his eyes. He's got crazy demonic eyes. He's a demon. Look at him. Just look at him. He's a demon. So Demon Slayer will take that him saying that and then just stick his own picture up on screen to where he's basically calling his own self a demon, which I find hilarious.
And he looks like a demon, and the energy's a demon.
So this is Steven calling himself a demon. And look, he plays with puppets. So he plays with puppets. He's never been seen with a woman on screen, but he claims he's a millionaire and has a girlfriend. So he's one of these guys who claims he's a genius, claims he has a girlfriend, claims he's a millionaire. But then all he does is cyberbully people, and he streams for 12 hours a day. Somebody said he's streaming right now. Yeah, he'll stream for 12 hours. Just going around starting drama with anyone he can find. He'll watch any video he can find, pull up a picture, and then start talking shit just for attention. That's his whole life. But when somebody turns around and does this and gives him this sort of attention, suddenly he doesn't like it. So he hates it when people share this channel. He hates it when people promote the Demon Slayer. So that's why I'm here showing this, promoting the Demon Slayer.
Look at the mouth. Look at just the energy, not just the looks, but the energy of that thing. And you can almost see an aura around him with that screenshot. It does kind of look like a mask. It looks like a Halloween mask, but it's so demonic. It's so, and it's this way with so many of them. If you take a screenshot, they look completely demonic. They'll look demonic. So I want people to look and compare and contrast and notice the differences. Their energy is sickening because they are demons. And I'm showing you what they are. They have demonic energy. And why would his eyes look this way? If he's just on a show, he looks fucking demonic because that's what it is. Because I don't have hatred for this piece of shit, whatever it is, demon on the screen. I just see what it is. I'm showing you what it is, plain and simple. That's what it is. And then there it is on the screen. I show you what they are. And the eyes look very dark, and there's a dark demonic energy coming off that thing. It's almost like a demonic spirit captured right there. It's demonic.
So this is Steven's face and Steven's words. And when you combine them together, it's pretty funny. It's like you have him calling himself a demon, and it just fits perfectly. But normally, he has someone else up on screen who he's calling a demon. And he's done that to the point where this guy, Demon Slayer, decided to dedicate an entire channel to exposing him. If you dedicate an entire channel to exposing someone, that means they have to be a total piece of shit. And so a lot of this guy's former subscribers and followers stop following him once they watch the Demon Slayer expose him. I don't know who the Demon Slayer is. It isn't me, but whoever it is doing a good job.
And I have no doubt about it. But we're surrounded by demonic creatures. And that's what they are. And their energy will show you. I'll show it again what my energy looks like. Just for contrast. So you can compare, contrast, and notice the difference.
Okay, don't anyone get confused. The channel who's exposing him took his words and then put his own image on screen. So this channel is essentially exposing him by having him make fun of himself. So normally he's saying this about someone like me. So picture me on screen and he's saying I'm a demon. So what Demon Slayer did is just stick a picture of him on screen. So he's calling himself a demon, because this is what he does to everybody. I'll show you a few more videos in a minute. It'll make more sense.
And that's part of my message to people, to notice the difference. I've been saying it for years. It's not just with me. There's my energy. And I'm not exactly exuding happiness. It's just a selfie. That's just my face and my energy. You could say that's my normal in a sense. That's the way I am. Look at my eyes compared to them. Look at my face. Take in the energy, and then compare it to them.
Somebody said he's talking about me right now. See, but this is what he does. This is how he gets people to talk about him. This is how he gets his fucking...
Doing this recently, I've received some donations, but it's 10% of what it was. But part of it...
Wow, look at this. He's got 9 people watching, you guys. He'll stream for 12 hours with like 10 people watching. So yeah. And he usually has like only 1 or 2 people in his chat. So if you hang out with him in his chat, it's just him and Salty Siren. Or whoever this Rachel Zinger person is. That's it. So it's a dude who has like 2 or 3 followers. He'll have like 10 viewers. And he'll just try and start shit and bully whoever he can just to get attention. And then anyone who gets upset by what he's doing, that's how he gets his pleasure. So if I was to be like, that motherfucker, I hate him. I can't believe he shut. Like if I get mad, that's how he gets his pleasure. So what I've figured out is this Demon Slayer channel that I was just showing you. He does not like the Demon Slayer channel at all. And he avoids the Demon Slayer channel. So, being he avoids the Demon Slayer channel, I'm here to show you the Demon Slayer channel because it exposes him. So look at this. It's been going on for years. Steven bullies people, and then this channel exposes him. So if you want to see Sanity Machine, Steven get exposed, this is the channel. He doesn't spell it regularly. So let me drop the link in the chat. So anybody who dislikes Steven and wants to see him get exposed, I'm going to drop the link in the chat for the Demon Slayer. If you don't know who that is and you don't give a shit, don't worry about it. This is only for people who know who he is and don't like him, who want to see him get exposed, want to see him get a taste of his own medicine. There you go. Links in the chat. Nobody donates to him, Kelly. So he's got like 2 followers. And he streams during the day for like 12 hours. Sometimes he'll even fall asleep during his streams. And there'll be like a 2-3 hour gap where it's just him sleeping. And there's only 2 or 3 people who hang out with him in the chat. And then he gets maybe 10 live viewers. And so over the course of a 12-hour stream, he'll usually at some point bring up one of my videos and then talk a bunch of shit about me. But that's all he does, is just talk mad shit. So I found this channel that exposes him and then started promoting the channel that exposes him. So yeah, since he doesn't like that channel, I figured I'd go ahead and give that channel. It's the exact same as when I started promoting Sports Gematria, who exposes Zach Hubbard. So essentially, here, I'll bring that channel up. Essentially, it's the exact same thing as what this other dude's doing to expose Zach Hubbard. So if you want to see Zach Hubbard get exposed, you look up Sports Gematria. See right here? It comes up right here before Zach's channel. So Sports Gematria is literally nothing but a channel that anonymously exposes Zach Hubbard.
Welcome back, True Seeker. Finishing off a very good Sunday in the National Fix League. Did we nail it or what? The game's not quite over, but we might get the 25 points in the final score. And as for the top clue, I think it is Allen getting his 41st loss. Baltimore 41. He would also stay on 83 wins. Ravens 83. At the same time, Jackson can get his 36th road win. Buffalo and Bills equals 36. If the Bills do go down, they'll also get their 25th loss versus the AFC North. Ravens 25 on a 25-date numerology. As I speak, Baltimore's up 40-25.
So he's basically congratulating the winners before Baltimore has won the game. Anybody who watched the end of that game knows how it turned out. So guess what's about to happen?
On the Bills with a little more than 7 minutes to go.
A few moments later.
All right, just in case this is going to get a copyright claim, I'm going to go ahead and pause it.
Two Ravens pursuing. And Allen throws deflected and caught by.
And of course, the Bills pulled the comeback and won 41-40. So what did Zach do after he made this video congratulating the winners prematurely?
More moments later.
Hayden, first round.
All right, so we already know what happened in the game.
What an incredible reaches over the pylon or the goal line for the touchdown. Wiggins throws on.
Right, so the Bills end up winning 41-40. So take a wild guess what Zach did. He took down the video. Right? So guys, I wouldn't have known that that happened if it wasn't for Sports Gematria. So channels like this expose Zach here. So that Demon Slayer channel is the exact same type of channel, except it exposes Sanity Machine instead of Zach. See what I'm saying? So what I was saying earlier was, if a scammer is out there scamming their audience and bullying their audience and just being a shitty person, eventually somebody steps up and anonymously starts exposing that person. And if you can build an entire channel around exposing someone, it's because they're a fucking no good piece of shit who deserves to be exposed. That's why a channel like this exists. So if you want to see Zach get exposed, this is the channel that exposes Zach. So shout outs to Sports Gematria. So hopefully that clears up the confusion. Yeah, so Zach is a shifty fucking liar who he'll make a riddle leaning you towards one way, picking the wrong team. And then he'll claim that he picked the other team and that you're just a fucking idiot for not understanding the riddle. I mean, to be that type of a guy to give out all these numbers and come up with this riddle that leads people towards a wrong pick. And then when they're like, dude, you got that wrong, he'll be like, no, I didn't pick that team. No, I picked the other team. You just didn't understand my decoding, right? So he's made excuses and told people that he picked the other team. And then there's times where he just straight denies it. And it's like, nah, we didn't get it wrong. You're just a hater and a troll. All my haters and all my trolls, they show up and they lie. It's like, no, dude, you got that last pick wrong. You're just a fucking hater and a fucking troll. All these haters and trolls. Like, no, they're not haters and trolls. They're people who tell the truth and expose you, and you don't like it. So there you go. There's 2 channels out there exposing dirty, no good sons of bitches. So go support those 2 channels. There you go. Jacques Talliard just became a YouTube member. Awesome. Bracer Jack said, "Oh my God, your hair. Gosh, you are so handsome." Is it really that handsome? Well, I did rub egg in my hair yesterday, and now it's looking extra nice and feeling soft. So, and I did rub egg on my face, which reduced my wrinkles so I don't look so old. So, yeah, I am looking pretty damn beautiful, huh? Quit trying to promote Lobo. He ties back to Pat Truthner, who's a fucking bitch. So fuck Lobo and fuck Deleon. And fuck their fucking hoodlum ass. Another reason why Lobo can kiss my ass is because when I showed the Dwight Smith clip, he was like, "You got that from my channel. You stole that from my channel. Blah, blah, blah." It's like, dude, it's a Dwight Smith clip. It ain't fucking yours. You don't own Dwight Smith's fucking admission. So yeah, fuck Lobo and fuck Deleon and fuck bitch ass Pat Truthner, who I put out of business, out of commission. And I know he still uses sock accounts to fucking talk shit because there's stupid ass sock accounts who say shit that Pat Truthner would fucking say. So I know he still lurks. Hi, Pat, bitch. I'm the best. You lost. Suck a dick. Ha ha. All right, I'll give you a pass if you didn't know that. But yeah, back in the day, him, Pat Truthner, and Deleon were doing a pick show. And then Pat fucking stabbed me in the back out of nowhere after I promoted him and sent fucking thousands of subs his direction. He stabbed me in the back and he thought he was gonna fucking throw me under the bus and steal my audience, and like he was just gonna like use me for clout. So what I did was I started making the top 10 most scripted plays of the week, and I whooped his ass at his niche, and I basically took it from him. Now it's mine. All mine. And he's gone. Nope. He quit. Once I started getting all the views, once I became the rigged NFL boss and he became the number 2, he couldn't handle it. And he actually went insane. He literally became obsessed with me, and he tried to like start slandering me. So he made a series of slander videos where he took a bunch of clips of me to try and make me look stupid. And that didn't work. So I kept getting more views than him, making NFL content, and it blew my channel up, and it pissed him off so bad, made him literally go insane. And then over the off season, he just took down his channel. So he's been gone for a few years now. But he still uses sock accounts to talk shit. All right, y'all. I think I'm about done here. I think I'm going to wrap it up and get off here. So I want to thank everybody for hanging out and watching. Can I beat Steven one-on-one in a street fight, no rules? Here's the deal. I'm not a big dude, And Steven likes to tell people that I'm 4 feet tall. So here's the deal. He is overweight. So he weighs more than me and he's taller than me. But mano a mano in a street fight, I would knock him unconscious in under a minute. I don't even think I would need more than a minute. I think 1 minute. If we were doing bare knuckles on concrete, there's no way he has better wrestling than me. I come from an amateur wrestling and amateur boxing background. I've won tournaments when I was a kid, and I've beaten other kids up in the ring when I was a kid in front of people. And I have proof. I've got videos. So I was trained when I was a kid to fight. And I've been in my share of street fights. Steven, I don't think he was ever trained. In fact, I can guarantee he has zero training. So I don't think he could stop me from taking him down. And I don't think he could stop me from picking him apart. And I doubt that Tubby would be able to land any big punches on me. So the only thing he has is he's taller than me and fatter than me. So in his mind, him being taller and fatter, and he thinks because I'm a shorter guy that he would easily win. But anyone who knows anything about fighting, who would take a look at somebody like me and my intensity and my background, and then take a look at somebody like him, he would have zero chance. I would beat him unconscious in under a minute. He would be scared. He would not fight me. In fact, if I was to openly challenge him to a street fight, he won't accept. He claims he's rich. He claims he's a millionaire. But one thing he won't do is meet up with me at street beefs and get inside of a cage with me. One thing he won't do is meet me anywhere and throw hands with me. But he'll tell his audience that I'm a 4 foot tall midget. He'll tell his audience I'm a tiny little manlet. He told his audience I'm 4 foot tall. Okay, then I'll be a 4 foot tall midget who whoops his ass in under a minute. So open challenge to Steven, if you ever want to fight me anywhere. Mano a mano, any fighting you want. Boxing, bare knuckle, MMA, whatever. I would whoop his ass in under a minute. But he would be too scared. He would be too scared to even fight me. So it won't happen. He's scared of a 4 foot tall manlet. There's guys out there who will try and make me feel bad because I'm not tall. And so they'll tell people that I'm shorter than I actually am. Steven's one of those guys. Jake is 4 feet tall. Like, dude, I'm not 4 feet tall. But if I was, then I'd be a 4 foot tall dude who could whip your fucking ass. You want to get your ass beat by a 4 foot tall dude? I bet you he doesn't, which is why he won't fight me. Yes, the NFL picks will come out probably Friday night or Saturday morning. If I make a pick now, then the spreads will change. And whether they move in my favor or against me, then it changes the money that's coming in, and it sometimes will change what I want to do. So if I wait till Saturday, the spreads are close to what they're going to be at game time. Whereas if I make a pick now, and then there's a trade or some injury report that changes the spread by 2 or 3 points or some shit, then suddenly I might not like that pick anymore. So rather than make picks too early, I like to wait until Friday night or Saturday. And one baller says, "Hey Jake, I just came back from a successful date." A what? A successful date? I didn't even know there was such a thing anymore. Hey, you guys, check it out. This dude went on a date and it was successful. Dude, I haven't went on a date in years. An actual date. from like an app or something. Yeah, I haven't done that in a while. A successful one? Whew, God. Back before 2020, I used to actually go on dates and successfully get laid. But after 2020, I noticed the amount of dates that I went on dwindled, and the amount of times I got laid after 2020 fucking dwindled a lot. But I remember back, before 2020, I used to actually get women who would want to go on a date and want to fuck. Then after 2020, that shit drastically declined. And I know it's not because I got ugly or whatever, or got too old, because I still look about the same, right? So definitely some shit in the dating market changed. And I've seen other dudes claim that they don't want to date women, and even though they have options, they still don't want to date women. So everybody's opinion towards dating has changed drastically in the last 5 years. So I changed up my pick strategy, and it worked out very well week 1. So instead of picking all the games, I'm looking at the games and only picking like 3 or 4 each week, the ones I liked the best. So I picked only 4 games week 1, nailed all of them. Everybody's happy. Guys make money, and they're praising me, kissing my ass, subscriber count shooting up. So hopefully, if I'm only picking 3-4 games a week, I can keep a winning record and everything's going to be good. What happened last year was I was picking all the games. I had a terrible start and I got triggered and I quit. And because I quit, I lost a lot of ad revenue. And so by me just making the picks, even if I don't bet at all, I'm making guaranteed money just by making the picks. So it would be stupid of me to not make the picks. If all I have to do is just pick and I'm going to make guaranteed money, whether I win or lose, then I might as well just make the picks. And if I make picks on the games that I feel comfortable and I don't have to pick all of them, well, then suddenly there's a lot less pressure and I actually feel like I have an advantage. So week 1, it worked out really well. So hopefully, if I can keep this going, win more games than I lose, I'm going to make people money. I'm going to get a fuck ton of new subs. I'm going to make money. And everything's going to be awesome. As long as my picks don't go to total shit, we're going to be good. Yeah, trying to find a woman who leans more conservative and didn't take the jab and isn't a total fucktard who thinks that they're a genius. See, the problem with a lot of women is that not only are they fucktards, but they think they're really smart. Like, especially the ones who are in the medical field. I don't want to even speak with a woman who's in the medical field, especially a nurse. You show me a woman who's a nurse, who's looking for a man, and that's a woman who's never going to find a man. That's because that's a woman who thinks she knows it all. Any woman who thinks she knows it all about health and is like one of those, like, I'm a genius, know-it-all, I'm a nurse type ladies. Nope. Not going to happen. All right, I need to get off here. I said I was going to shut it down. Now I'm going to go ahead and do it. So thank you guys for watching on another Truther Tuesday. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for all the super chats and everyone who hung out tonight. I'll see you guys in the next video or the next stream. And I'll try and have some members only content out for you soon. So look forward to that. And you guys are the best damn audience on YouTube. Except for that, the one guy who talked about having sex with my mother. Not him. He sucks. But the rest of you guys, you were awesome tonight. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Good times. Another Truth or Tuesday in the books. I'll catch you next week or the next video or whenever. Have a great night. Love you guys. Peace out. Bye-bye.